Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the Sports Arena on a Monday night. I'm your man, Eric Wilson. Yeah, sorry, no background. Technical difficulties have been screwing with me all week long. So until I get that fixed, you got to look at my pretty face. Sorry about your luck. But yeah, we're doing a special 2 hour show tonight. We've got so much to talk about, so much to get into that this conversation is probably going to spill over into our Wednesday show. But let me go ahead and get the crew in here. Joining us back on a Monday. It's been a minute, but our Queen of Hoops is with us. Miss Megan Price is in the building, along with my man on the West Coast, the left coast, Mike Caratanudo, and Blue Hawks 13, John Shear is in the building. As we say, one of these things is not like the other. That would be me this evening. First off, good evening to everybody. What's going on? How are you? What's up?
Eric,
Doing really well.
my vertical sore from some players being able to pass interfere and hold on to receivers and not get called. My vertical sore. I just want you to know that, Eric.
Okay. I got you, John. I got you, Mike. Sorry.
All right. I was hoping you picked that up.
I got you. I got you.
Brother. And thank you for helping me out. I'll admit it on air to our friends. Thank you for helping me out with time change today, because I know how to do it, but I just don't have to do it here in Arizona. So
Exactly.
I wanted to call and make sure we were good.
and before we go any further, I want to take a moment and say, all of us at the Sports Arena, we want to say something very simple. It's 3 simple words. Sorry, Mama Caratanudo. We're going to get to that later on, I'm sure. But we got a special guest in the building joining us. He's been on the show before. He does his own thing. It's called, in fact, The Halftime Show with our man, Cortland Griffin. Cortland, my man, are you there, brother? What's going on?
I know y'all can't see my face right now, but I'm here. Like, it's me.
Okay.
I the voice.
Imposter. Better not be an imposter, Cortland.
No,
All
it's me. It's definitely me.
Travis
y'all.
Kelce
It's
isn't
the one and
holding
only.
you, is he?
Oh, he probably is.
In any event, and really quick before I forget, I would be remiss. I got to say congratulations to my man right here, Denzel. Congratulations to your Houston Astros. Goodbye, John. Congratulations to your Houston Astros, man. Great series. Let's hope for a rematch next year. We know that is highly unlikely, but let's see what happens. Anyhow, tonight is all NFL, and there is so much to break down. There is so much to get into. I don't even know where, honest to God, I really don't even know where to start. But I am going to try and start at the very beginning here and simply break with this. We found out earlier today, Jeff Saturday is the new interim head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. Okay? I listen. Chris Mortensen broke the story. John Shear called me while I was walking the dog, and he was like, please tell me you saw this. And I was like, saw what? So, let's get into it. What is everybody's thoughts about this?
I'm curious. I'm curious. Cortland's. First of all, he's the guy in the AFC South, right?
He is correct.
So,
For sure.
if I may, can we push it to him first, because this is the AFC South guy? So, let's jump into the AFC South. Like, Cortland, what do you think?
I'm gonna say this, right? I think it was a great move if you're looking for a Band-Aid as a Colts fan, right? If you're looking for a way to kind of to soften the blow, a chaser to the tequila, for lack of better analogy, right? This is a way of saying, like, you're having a bad season, a season where you thought you were a playoff team, a season where you felt like you had a chance to win this division, with so much, questions around the Titans, right? And now Frank Reich is gone. Matt Ryan is essentially all but retired. What else? Like Sam Ellinger is your starting quarterback right now. Jonathan Taylor is having a down year. All of these things are happening around you. A defense that was supposed to be so star-studded is struggling, and now you have to find another coach. And you went and grabbed Jeff Saturday, who's a legend, a Colts legend, in every sense of the word. And now you're kind of looking like, maybe he knows football. He's been here. Maybe this works. But I kind of feel like this was a college football move where you go and get the former guy, the former linebacker, star guy, star player to bring in, hoping like this is like a Juwan Howard hiring, right? He's the guy that's like he's played there before. The Penny Hardaway hiring. He's the guy who's been here
This
before.
isn't a Juwan Howard. No, it's not even close. No, it's not.
No, I mean, like,
Not even
understand what
close.
I'm saying. Like, understand what I'm saying, right? Like, I'm saying he's in the fact of he's a guy that is recognized by the fan base, so it's not as jarring of a blow. It's like if they hired Peyton Manning, like Colts fans are going to be like, yeah, like we got our guy, and it's like, but he doesn't have any coaching experience. He's played for the team. He was a Pro Bowler, right? But he doesn't have any coaching experience at the college level, high school level, or
Oh, he
NFL.
coaches
He
high
does
school.
high school. He does high school.
Oh,
Yes.
I thought
right.
okay. I thought I read an article that wondering like what he did to like kind of qualify.
And he wasn't
and they
even
said
a
he had
good
no
high school
coaching.
coach.
Yeah, they said he had like no coaching experience. So
Yep.
I'm sorry I misspoke there, but he
That's
doesn't have any high level. He doesn't have any high level, I should say, high level coaching experience. So with only time will tell. We'll have to see what happens, but I just don't think this saves the Colts season. If anything, I think they're planning for next year. At this point, I think they tank it out the rest of the year, and they probably go get a Bryce Young or a CJ Stroud, and try to rebuild this franchise from there.
Okay. All right. So I disagree because I'm just listen. I like Jeff Saturday. Let me be very clear about this. I like the man. I feel he's a great analyst. He's done some phenomenal work with ESPN. His sat him down Tuesday with the pancakes thing. It's great. But this is a man who has never been, welcome to my co-host, Cray Lynn. This is my man who has never been a coordinator. He's never been an assistant. He's never been, his resume does not, to me, speak of being head coach worthy. And so I understand where you're coming from as far as getting the crowd excited. But there are so many other qualified, the word that Mike and I like to use all the time, individuals who could be given this position for the second half of this season. I can tell you what the Indianapolis Colts second half of the season is going to look like. It's going to look horrible. Okay? And now Jeff Saturday being named the interim head coach is going to go down with this ship. Like, I'm going to defer to the rest of y'all because it just does not make sense to me.
Well, I will say this, Eric, that I get what you're saying. And as an interim head coach, I don't think he's A, looking for a long-term job, but B, it goes all the way upstairs to Jim Irsay. We were just talking about him, at owners meetings 2 weeks ago when he's the owner that the rest of the owners sent out to basically fire at Dan Snyder. But Irsay okayed Carson Wentz coming in, and that didn't work. He wanted to get rid of him. He got rid of him. Irsay wants Frank Reich to fire his offensive coordinator. They fired the offensive coordinator last week. Reich takes over for 1 week after you're saying you're not going to go with Matt Ryan even when he comes back because he's injured and he's rehabbing and he's there. You're not going to go with Matt Ryan. You're going to stick with Ellinger. So now you bring somebody else into this. Look, you and I don't agree on a lot of things, but we all know Jerry Jones is not this knee-jerk reaction because he kept Jason Garrett for like 5 decades, it seemed like.
Facts.
But Jim Irsay wanted all this. Jim Irsay wanted this, and again, yeah, Frank Reich. If you're gonna, you're gonna go to the owner and you're gonna, hook your put everything on Carson Wentz And that doesn't go that way. And again, I mean, we all ripped on Carson Wentz. There were some boneheaded plays last year, but he didn't play defense. Like that last game last year against Jacksonville. I'm sorry. Does he play defense?
Stop it.
Because
Stop
the
right there.
defense,
Stop.
the defense
Don't
just
do
let him
that.
march down the field.
Play
Once again, John,
awful.
there's two sides to the ball.
Stop it.
There's two sides to the ball. And when you get
Carson
punched in
Wentz
the
the
mouth by a
leader, and he
defense,
threw
no.
pick after pick, and the offense did absolutely nothing.
What
All
did the
they did was
defense
put
do
8
against
men in the
Jacksonville?
box.
What did
And
the
when
defense
Jonathan
do?
Taylor got stuffed every time, guess what Carson Wentz could do? Absolutely nothing.
Right.
Stop
And what did
it.
the
Don't
defense
do
do
that.
against
Don't go there. You're
Jacksonville?
better than
What
that.
did the defense do? No, because there's a defensive side of the
Stop.
ball. I know in Miami you don't
Okay,
get that. Really.
If we all think it's going to look bad in the second half of the season for the Colts, why wouldn't they just keep it in house? Like, why would, and you have to sit here and pay another coach to finish out the season who's just an interim as well. Why would you not just promote within your coaching staff? And the one that makes the most sense is Gus Bradley. Like, go ahead, Cortland.
I can answer that. So, again, like, because I'm a Titans fan, I've been here, like, seeing all Jim Irsay's craziness. If you look at his comments after the Titans had beat them, right? He acted like they lost. He acted like they lost the Super Bowl after we swept them this year. His comments were like, "This is, this is the worst thing that could have happened. Like, this is that and the third." Like, it was almost as if he had lost. Like it was almost like they told him to sell the franchise, and so like promoting from inside would have been the smart football move. It would have been the smart, organizational move, right? Like if let's just say hypothetically the Cowboys were to fire
Mike McCarthy,
Mike McCarthy,
and
right?
Kellen Moore. Don't forget Kellen Moore.
Easily, it would be smart to go and like promote the defense, your defensive coordinator or Kellen Moore or somebody. It would be easy to do that. Smart. That would be the smarter move, right? But let's just say Jim Irsay was your owner. Let's say Jerry Jones had Jim Irsay's brain. He would go and get Troy Aikman out of the booth and come be the head coach. This is the kind of move that he made, right? Jim Irsay is basically saying Jeff Saturday is he snapped balls for years. He won a Super Bowl. He went to multiple Super Bowls.
Like, and don't get me wrong, I see the connection of being a fan favorite. Like, I see that connection of being a fan favorite, and that's good for your fans, but it's not a smart football move. It's like, okay, when the Rangers, they went and got rid of their president of operations and their manager and they did, like, the season was 3/4 over. Like, there was no point in doing it. And I kind of feel like that now with this situation. Like, there's no point.
Right.
All right, let me get Ray in here. Ray, you clearly see what's going on and what we're talking about here tonight on the Sports Arena. Give me your thoughts on it.
I mean, I said it in the chat earlier. Y'all done touched on all the points. It just don't make a whole lot of sense in any professional sport to get halfway through your season, right? Coaches get fired all the time. But then you say, especially football, because you got all these guys on the sideline, quarterbacks, coaches, offensive coordinators, defense coordinators, and they have a few people in their coaching ranks with head coaching experience, right? I was looking at their staff. Even the offensive coordinator, he's been there with the team for the last 5 or 6 years. He went from being a quarterback's coach to the offensive coordinator. The defensive coordinator, like she already brought up, Gus Bradley, this guy has head coaching experience as recent as maybe 4 years ago in Jacksonville. John Fox is over there, right? Like, you have John Fox on the staff. A guy with some head coaching experience. You could literally pull John Fox in the office and say, hey, listen, you're not our long-term solution. Can you get us through the rest of this season? Right?
The guy's been to multiple Super Bowls as a coach.
You get what I'm saying? And for me, it's not about the cachet of the person who's going to fill this position. It's not about their name holding some kind of weight or whatever their stature is. That's not my issue. It's not the fact that Jeff Saturday doesn't have any coaching experience. That's not what bothers me. What bothers me is we're talking about football. When a new coach comes in and takes over a team, he gets the entire offseason. He gets training camp with his players. He gets to build and design his system the way he wants to. Either he's going to build and design his system, then take the players he has and try to fit them, or he's going to look at his players and try to build a system to maximize their strengths. Either way, this guy doesn't have that opportunity, right? He's a brand spanking new coach, and he has to come in today and make a game plan for week 9 or week 10, right? Like how does that even work? Today's Monday. They got play Sunday. They got a bye week or they're playing Sunday.
They play.
No, they play. They're playing.
They're playing, right? So this guy has 6 days, having never done this. He got 6 days to come in and game plan. He has no relationship with any other players in the locker room, no relationship with his staff, and I'm sure by him being a
can I add something to that,
legend
Ray?
in Indy. Hold on, real quick. Let me get this point out, then you can answer it. Like, he has like, sure, they know who he is, but we're talking about being in that locker room all year, right? No relationship with the trainers, no relationship with the athletes, no relationship with the front office, no relationship with any of the coaches, right? Like, I served in the military, and one thing is that, like, you got to, like, as a young Marine, you got to know your leaders. Know that you can't get away with that with him, but that guy, okay. And then as a leader, you got to know your Marines. I can yell at him and get the best out of him. Him, I got to kind of coddle, right? He's walking into a situation where he doesn't know anything about his players, anything about his coaches. He doesn't have a system in place. This can only get worse. It can only get worse. Like, that was weird, man. Like, I'm not even on the Irsay crazy train. It's just a wild thing in sports to see in football where you have this many coaches on the sideline to pick from and say, hey, man, coach these last 9 games. No, we're just going to bring a guy.
So random. It was so random to me.
That's just weird to me. Yeah.
Look, coaching. Look, you're right. I agree with you, Ray. But I mean, the one thing everybody's harped on all day is that he's been a consultant for the team. He was there and preached. And I'm with you on the locker room. I get that because you're not in the locker room every day. You're not in offensive or defensive meetings. You're not in position room meetings. But being a consultant, at least knowing-ish, I don't get what. And I'm with you. I mean, like, you have coaches sitting there left and right. And if they're all going to be gone after the season anyway, then why not let John Fox do it?
Mike, you know what it's a perfect example of? And I will only use what's on screen. This is no disrespect to anybody. It's the equivalent of if Eric called us at 9:30 and said, I can't do the show. He doesn't ask me to host. He don't ask Megan to host. He don't ask Mike to host. He don't ask John to host. He says, I can't make it. Cortland's going to host. What?
I don't argue with that. That's a pretty good show.
No, but hear me out. You got 4 people that do this show regularly. We know how it
we
works.
have hosting experience.
We've all hosted this show. We know the brands in the background. We know where to find the videos. We know which stuff to promote. We know just how it's gonna flow. We know which kind of alley-oops to throw each other to get each other going. We know each other's personalities. You're gonna bring in a guy who's been on the show once or twice to host it and run the whole show. Makes no sense.
That's not fair to him. That wouldn't be fair to him.
Right.
Is Eric frozen? Hey,
I'm here.
He's frozen to me.
I'm still listen. I'm listening.
Do y'all see him though?
I'm just saying because like his facial expression, I see him. It's just his facial expression hasn't changed in like 2 minutes.
Okay, so real quick, for whatever reason, Eric is completely blacked out on my screen.
What?
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's not on mine. I see him.
Yeah.
He just hasn't. He's just.
Hi, Ray. I'm here. Yo, what's up, bro? I'm here.
No, I hear you. I just was out because he was having that conversation.
I'm gonna see if
your face was frozen.
No, hold on. You know what? I'm gonna let y'all keep going. It might.
No. Stay right there, E. Stay right there. It's kind of weird, but
I'm still here. Wow, really? I'm blank.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
That's what you look like on my screen.
Huh? That's interesting.
And that was weird because it did that lap. But like, yeah, you're just completely blacked out on my screen. It's all good though.
All right, so I wanted to add, like, because you guys were talking about this, Ray, I wanted to touch on something Mike said and then kind of piggyback on what you said. You said about how he doesn't have any experience and all that stuff. Before they fired the offensive coordinator was calling the plays. Frank Reich took over the play calling, so he was calling the plays. They fired Frank Reich. They have nobody to call the plays. Guess who's calling the plays? Jeff Saturday. The guy's never coached in the NFL, never coaching college. He's only coaching college. He's a center, and he's calling plays for an NFL organization.
Well, I mean,
and he has 6 days.
Hold on, real quick. When you say he's a center,
yeah,
it's kind of like a catcher and a pitcher.
It's not like he's a quarterback. It's not like he's a quarterback with the thing on his arm saying,
I
know the play sheet.
John, have you ever talked to a center? I'm not picking on you. I'm not trying to single you out. You ever talk to a center at any level, college or pro? I'm just saying, like, at a pro level, Ray, I think you're getting at this. Like, when you say a center, it's like, they're when centers go down, it's every call on the line. When the Pounceys went out, when all these all-pro centers go, or these big centers go down, it's pointing things out. Yes, is it?
And then hits the finish.
But they're in there making calls, and they're making the calls for the whole line. They're making the calls for everything.
Mike, he's never called an NFL play in his life as a coach, and
it doesn't matter, John. It doesn't matter.
Cortland, he has 6 days to learn how to call plays for an NFL team.
Look who he's got around him.
John, first off, I'm with you.
6 days.
Again, nothing.
to prepare to be an NFL head coach and call plays. That's insane.
That's the real
me.
shocking thing, right? If they'd have brought Jeff Saturday in the offseason, this wouldn't be as shocking, right?
Yeah.
If new guys get hired all the time. NBA, Steve Kerr got a job without ever coaching. Jason Kidd got a job without ever coaching. Isaiah Thomas, Larry Bird. Like if you played, you can get a job without having coached right before. There you go. I don't know what happened. Now you're almost screen. Now you're there.
I see you moving.
What's up, Eric?
You're really having technical difficulties.
Trying to tell y'all. Sorry, Rad. I didn't mean to interrupt you, brother. Keep going.
No, as a matter of fact, I have to show you what I'm talking about, E. It's uploading. This is what it looked like on my screen.
No, I know. I got you.
Yeah. So, man, that's just very odd to me, man. It would be the equivalent of, you can pick any team in the NBA right now. Like the Lakers are doing bad, right? Lakers are doing bad.
I mean, they could have hired Tony Romo, and it probably would have been about just as comparable.
Right? It would be like the Lakers right now saying things are bad. We're gonna fire Darvin Ham and hire Carmelo Anthony.
No, that's not the same.
Like it wasn't his fault last year.
Wow.
We can hire him as a coach. It's cool.
That ain't the same. That's not the same.
Why is not? It's exactly the same.
No, it's exactly.
the guy who played the game.
It would be like the Lakers. It would be like the Lakers firing Darvin Ham and saying we're gonna pull a Shaq and put him on the sideline.
Same concept.
That would be the
I'm
equivalent.
talking about a guy who played the game and has never coached. Shaq
Okay,
is a
so
very
no,
good
hold
example.
on. Prime example of doing that was when the Spurs put Tim Duncan as an assistant coach. They actually let him coach the game before they let Becky coach the game when Pop was out. And he didn't have any coaching experience at the time. And it wasn't just because it's not because I was just so pro Becky, but the thing was she already had 6 years of experience at the time. And you're throwing Tim Duncan in. Why? Because it's Timmy. I didn't think that was fair.
Right. And my thing with John, just to kind of give you some point of contention here, Jeff Saturday did snap the ball to maybe the greatest quarterback mind
Congratulations
that we've ever seen in Peyton Manning, right? Like he did that.
God.
So and his X's and O's.
John's not
I'm
impressed.
raising cookies for it. Like,
and his X's and O's. Hold on. His X's and O's are some of the best that you like. When you hear him talk X's and O's, his X's and O's are pristine. Like he's not one of those guys who he played offensive line. He's not Mark Schlereth, right? Like he's not a guy who's like, I played offensive line. That's it. So like he knows his X's and O's. Now I get he doesn't have a lot of time to prepare. Like 6 days is not enough. 6 days wouldn't be enough. 6 days.
That's my whole thing. I don't care how smart you are. Tony Romo is a very intelligent analyst, and we got to see that firsthand.
Ray, can you clip that? Can you clip that, Ray? I'm sorry. Can you clip that, Ray?
Well done,
Because I want to
Mike.
make that my phone ring when Eric calls. I'm sorry, Eric. I'm glad I'm sitting down.
done.
My heart almost stopped, Ray.
Hey,
I
Ray,
got you,
I'm sorry.
Mike.
You got to
Walk
get
right
that man
into
his
that,
credit.
Eric.
You got to get
That's
that man
funny.
Tony Romo his credit.
My point
God.
being,
No, Cortland, real quick, you don't understand. Eric would never say a damn nice thing about Tony Romo when he was playing, and I understand why. But I can't believe he just went Tony Romo. Like, my heart stopped, Cortland. I'm sorry, guys. Go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry.
my point being, the time frame to which it exists
Right.
does not prove this to be a positive thing.
No.
And you're going up against the Las Vegas Raiders, a team that we will talk about, I'm sure, at some point this evening. It's just one of those things where I'm like, the decisions made by ownership, the decisions made by upper management to bring a man who has given you everything for this organization when he played for them. And now you're just going to say to him, hey, be our head coach. Like I just that does not resonate with me. That does not say to me you truly care about the success of Jeff Saturday. No matter what he does, people are going to feel one way or the other. But the bottom line is Irsay screwed this up. Front office screwed this up. And I feel for Jeff Saturday. I am so blown because I want to know what tomorrow on Get Up
don't do that, though.
like.
Don't do that, though, E.
Yeah.
Don't do that. I'll give you a quick example. John, I saw your comment in the thing. I'm a member of a nonprofit organization, right?
Okay.
You're a member of these organizations, there's a hierarchy, just like the United States has a president and vice president, so on and so forth. And most of these nonprofits, like I was with the Disabled American Veterans, I'm a Mason, I'm a Shriner, like you have a pecking order, right? And typically, when you're down here in the pecking order, whenever elections happen, ideally, if nothing crazy happens, everybody just moves up. But everybody has the right to run for any position they want to, right? And the other night, one of my organizations had elections, and I got nominated to be, for all intents and purposes, number 2, right? Behind the number 1 guy. And everybody was quiet. This was nominations. If nobody says anything, I'll win because I'm running unopposed. And out the blue, somebody said, oh, I nominate such and such. And I looked across the room like, what? And the brother, that he sat there and he thought about it. He said, yeah, I accept the nomination. I looked at him crazy. The meeting happens. I wound up withdrawing my name from consideration. After the meeting, I talked to the brother that nominated the other guy. I say, what was the point? It don't have to, blah, 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 right? And the other guy who took it said, yep. I say, no, you're not off the hook neither because you didn't have to accept it. How did that just come full circle, E?
Yeah.
Saturday ain't have to accept it.
You're right.
Like, so everybody's going to do this woe is me thing when he sucks, right? Like, but he took it. I don't, man, listen, you couldn't have, listen, nah.
Okay.
He just, it's just as much his fault for accepting it because everything we saying, he got to know. He know he only got 6 days. He know he ain't been on the staff all year. He know he been in the booth. He know he's never coached a day in his life. And he took it.
I mean, that's real. I was offered
That's
a position, a managing position, but I was going to have to push somebody out. And you know what I did? I said no. Because it wasn't right.
No, these bras be in my inbox. I'm like, stop.
All right.
I need to know that.
You right. I listen.
Wow.
I can't argue it.
That's
I can't argue it.
Ray's going to be going off right after the show because that's going to have an argument.
All right. Let's move on to our next topic.
No, John had a point. John had a point.
Sorry, John. Sorry,
No,
John.
I got 2 points.
2
after
points.
this.
Go ahead.
Yeah. We talked about Jeff Saturday, but Reggie Wayne has a year of experience as a wide receiver coach. Reggie Wayne, I mean, if you're talking about fan favorites, Reggie Wayne's a bigger fan favorite than Jeff Saturday. I mean, he's going to go in the Hall of Fame one day. You got Kevin Mawai, who, I mean, that's a Hall of Fame offensive lineman who's been coaching on this team for a couple years now. That's
What happened?
You got John Fox. You mentioned John Fox. You got Cato June, who was a pretty smart linebacker. You got plenty of guys on this staff that have experience, that have, if you look down this list, that have been on the Colts for quite a bit of years now. And you really could have, like we said, could have hired internally and you could have pulled them from there. And that kind of, I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi. That leads to my next point. And you know, I'm not one to play this card. Like, I don't play the race card or anything like that. But, Eric, I got to ask. Like, I got to ask you. I got to ask Cortland. I got to ask Ray. Why in the world are the interim tags not – why don't they apply – why doesn't the Rooney Rule apply there? Why is that? Like, it doesn't make sense because, like, if you're going to make it – if you're – it doesn't matter. Like, if you're going to do this – why can't you? You know what I mean? Like, I know it's a harder situation because you're in a bind, but like, you know, like I feel like guys
Mike,
don't
I'll say this, John. Like, I think it. Here's the thing, right? Even if the Rooney Rule did apply, right? We've seen the Rooney Rule be used as just like hey, like we got to go through the motions type thing. Like Steve Wilkes, right? A guy who I felt like. Right. A guy who I felt like deserves to be a head coach in this league. Yeah. A guy who I feel like deserves it. Like Steve Wilkes is a guy I felt like deserves to be a head coach in this league. He has so many. He's one of the. To me, he's one of the better defensive minds in the league. Right. He just beat the Bucks. Right after people said he wouldn't be able to like do anything. Right, even though they just got blasted by, Cincinnati. Shout out to Trevion Williams and them boys over there. But it's my thing is I feel like he didn't get a fair shake in Arizona. Like they hired him for that one season and then they went and got Cliff Kingsbury. As soon as Cliff Kingsbury made himself available, they kicked him out the door and hired him. So like the Rooney Rule to me like would almost be even more of an insult to black coaches who are qualified because it's mid-season, you got to make a quick decision. Like you still wouldn't go through the proper checks and balances and actually do the due diligence for a black coach. So I kind of feel like at that point you're asking them to make even more of a spectacle, of the Rooney Rule than what it already is, even in the offseason.
Hey, John, it's fun. While you were talking, I wanted to make this comment, and then you just like literally served it up. So I'll answer your question with two things. One, the first person you mentioned was Reggie Wayne.
Yes.
And when I give the rest of my response while I'm talking, I want you to think about this question right here. Tell me a black coach that bypassed the system in that way. Any black coach. Tell me one that didn't have to come through the ranks as an assistant, quarterback, linebackers, coordinator. You tell me one black coach that passed the whole system and became a head coach. I'll let you marinate on that.
Oh, I know. I already know that ain't happening.
Oh, okay. So you didn't have to marinate on it.
Yeah, I already know that.
Reggie Wayne was a
But I mean, if we talking fan favorites, right? Reggie Wayne, doesn't get much bigger fan favorite in Indy than that.
I mean, if that's the case, they're gonna go get the dude with the forehead.
I'm just saying that's Reggie Wayne.
Like, I mean,
that's right below Marvin Harris.
But so as far as the Rooney Rule, right? I'm glad it don't apply. And here's why. You recall last year, what was the big name we all talked about? Eric Bieniemy. We talked about this all last summer. Where might he land? And if you recall, every time I talked about him, I was saying stuff like, please don't go here. Please don't go here, right? Because there are two positions that are held in the NFL in such high regard that we always hear about, like blacks in this thing, head coaches and quarterbacks, right? Because for the longest they were both rare, almost non-existent, right? So when black coaches do get these opportunities, I want them to be good opportunities. I don't want a black coach to take it just for the sake of, hey, you can be a head coach, but you got to go over here and fix this pile of crap. Like, no. Don't walk into this situation with the coach mid-season and they're firing people left and right. They just fired the guy that was calling the plays. They just fired the head coach. You don't have no, come on, Rooney Rule. No, bro, keep that. Like, if they'd have called up Eric Bieniemy, I would have hoped and prayed he didn't take it, right?
Well, but
you saw y'all see Arians get up out of there before stuff got bad. Y'all saw that.
Yep.
And not Todd Bowles over there. Anyway, if you're going to be a black coach, you're going to be giving it an opportunity. I want it to be a good opportunity. I want you to at least have the opportunity to succeed. I don't want you to get no handouts. I just want you to have a chance to succeed, right? Whoever took this job wouldn't have had a chance.
Ray, 100%. But when anybody's hiring, it's like the number one draft pick. You're going to a crappy team. Like, they have an opening because the team was crap.
That ain't always the case.
Not
man.
always. That's not always true. That's not always true. I think Becky could probably come back into the NBA, and I wouldn't have wanted her to take the job in Orlando. I'm sorry, Eric. I wouldn't have wanted her to take the job in Orlando.
I'd have been there every game.
I mean, of course you would have, and Portland is turning it around. But off of last season, I wouldn't have wanted her in Portland either.
Hey, Mike. Just to very briefly shift sports, just on the comments you made when you're hiring a coach, right? I can give you numerous situations where, like in the past 6-7 years in basketball where that wasn't the case, right? When Golden State got Steve Kerr, it wasn't because Mark Jackson was bad. It was because they wanted a shift in the culture, right? When the Clippers let go of Doc and got Ty Lue, Doc wasn't first off, I think Doc's a bad coach, but his reputation isn't that. They just wanted to change. When Toronto let go of Casey and got Nick Nurse, he wasn't a bad coach. They wanted to change. When Boston let go of Brad Stevens and got Ime Udoka, it wasn't because he was a bad coach. They wanted to change. They got
rid of Ime Udoka.
No. Brad Stevens, that's the one I disagree with. Brad Stevens is a crap coach.
I mean, we can rationalize X's and O's and decisions he made, right? But if we look at just purely results,
I don't have any of them.
He was in multiple Eastern Conference Finals. Even with a very young team, when Jason Tatum was a rookie and they had no business there, he was in the Eastern Conference Finals. So, like, his results, let's just say that, wasn't that of a bad coach, right? So, okay. I don't necessarily agree.
His locker room was atrocious.
Ray, I know you said shift sports.
Mike, stick a pin in it. We got to move.
With football,
I know we got 2 hours, but we got a lot to jump into. And I knew this topic was going to go down a rabbit hole, but we got another rabbit hole to go down. We can come back to it, trust me. But let's get to the next topic here. And again, shout out to Chris Mortensen and Fox NFL, but this is a potential injury, UCL injury for one, Mr. Josh Allen. So, John Scheer, I'm coming to you on this one. Talk to me about this and what this means could possibly mean for Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just Buffalo. It's the entire NFL. Anybody that's in competition, anybody that's thinking about a Super Bowl this year, this affects you. Like anybody. It's Dallas, Miami, Tennessee, Philly.
Dallas.
It affects everybody.
I was going to say, if you don't say Philly, I'm kicking you off the screen for like an hour.
I'm going around and I'm looking at everybody except Ray because, all the teams are in it. Sorry, Ray. I mean, you did get a nice win, but it affects all the teams that are looking at a Super Bowl right now. Because if the Bills are out, if Josh Allen's out of it for the rest of the season and going into next year, like that knocks the Bills out. And that changes the entire landscape of the NFL. That gives everybody that much better of a shot at getting to the Super Bowl in the AFC, and then everybody in the NFL winning the Super Bowl, because the Bills would be out of it. You're not winning with Case Keenum. Like, it's a nice roster, but you're not getting by the Chiefs. You're not getting by the Ravens, the Dolphins. You just lost to the Jets with Josh Allen. Like, you're not beating all these teams that we currently see are beating you. You're not doing anything, Bills, if Josh Allen's done for the season. It's over if that happens. I don't wish that upon him. I don't wish that upon anybody, because, I mean, that's just awful to see. We're all football fans. Like, nobody wants to see it happen. We all want to see each team at their best. But it changes everything. Like, even if he misses a month, it changes everything in the AFC, because the Bills aren't the same team, and that gives teams like the Ravens, gives teams like the Jets, the Dolphins, the Bengals, even the Patriots are in it. Like, all them teams that are right there with the Bills gives them opportunities.
Cortland, you forgot Cortland in Tennessee.
You got your butt kicked last night, so
yeah. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute.
That was overtime. Stop hating.
Garbage division in the world. Stop it. Your quarterback threw 4 passing yards last night.
Time out. This definitely.
It would not be an episode of Sports Arena if John didn't say something outlandish. So
that's crazy.
Why are y'all surprised?
First of all,
I'm not gonna go there.
But Eric, it changes everything. Even if he misses a month, it changes who's the number 1 and 2 seeds.
Who are the 2 players that had the Minnesota Miracle, Eric? Who are the 2 players that had that play? Case Keenum and Stephon Diggs. Who got Diggs?
It doesn't matter, Mike.
So what John's saying, the nice little lineup they have, their defense will still kill people, because allegedly when teams haven't had quarterbacks, like people like to say the Ravens when Trent Dilfer was there and what they did. Yeah, it's an NFL quarterback, but he's nothing. You know how I feel about that, Eric. All I'm saying is it does change it. They might not end up with the number 1 seed, but he had this as a rookie and he missed 4 weeks. So yeah, if he does miss a month, it'll be tough. But all I know is
he's not getting past the Chiefs.
All Case Keenum is going to do is throw the ball to Stephon Diggs and have him blow people up. Because last I checked, I mean, if anybody on the panel can tell me Stephon Diggs sucks, go ahead, say it. Because he don't, and he'll still get hits.
Talking about Diggs.
He doesn't suck, but Sauce Gardner.
That's very insinuatory with that, Mike. That was very insinuatory. Yeah. No, but they're not getting past the Chiefs. That's the main thing right now in the AFC. Like, yeah, I understand that, Titans might be turning the corner, whatever. But we know AFC, it's Chiefs and Bills. Miami looks good. Patriots are even kind of turning it around a little bit. Like, this is a huge problem.
They're better than the Patriots. Are you kidding me?
She's just saying in general.
I'm just saying in general, even in their division, the Patriots
forgot Cincinnati, man. Because Joe Burrow
you jumped down her throat before she could finish what she was saying.
Mike.
John, you have no room to talk about jumping down somebody's throat before they finish talking.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait till everybody's done.
But regardless, we all knew that the Bills and the Chiefs looked like they were on a crash course to seeing each other in the postseason again. That's what we all thought. Right or wrong? Right or wrong?
Yes.
Okay, so this changes that massively.
Yeah. And this changes my Super Bowl prediction, because I had the Bills in the Super Bowl this year. I didn't know who was going to be from the NFC side. I had it between the Vikings and the Cowboys this year. That was just me on the NFC side. I didn't see the Eagles.
You about to get booted. You get First Cousins and Dallas. Oh my gosh. Ooh, those are 2 sins, man.
That is a recipe for disaster. That is a recipe for disaster.
I apologize, Cortland. I know. I just apologize that you just didn't know the rules. Eric has built-in mechanisms that certain things you mentioned trigger him to do certain things. You weren't aware. You didn't know.
All I said was,
Don't say it again. What? Don't say it again.
All I said was I did not see y'all coming.
Don't repeat it.
Anyway, point is the 2 teams I had from the NFC. The 2 teams I had from the NFC, right, are good enough to get there. But the Bills were my lock. Right, I felt like this year Josh Allen turned the corner, was going to have an MVP season, was going to do it. They had the defense to do it, and they were going to get there. I had them as a lock. I didn't care what Patrick Mahomes did. I didn't care what they had.
Disrespect.
Look, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback, hands down. He's number one uno, right?
But this is so big that it affects two of our other topics. It affects the MVP and it affects where Odell goes to.
Exactly.
That's how big this is.
And this also has implications. Hold on. This also has implications because of what you saw last night, right? And I know y'all talked about it. But Tennessee, right, my Titans had Malik Willis, a rookie quarterback who did not pass for -2 yards in the second half last night, right? And we still only lost by this many points.
In overtime.
In overtime. Right?
Right.
In overtime. So like if Ryan Tannehill was there, right? I feel like we maybe do enough to edge out that game. So this also shows. So it's like with Josh Allen not
how many extra possessions Ryan Tannehill was gonna get Kansas City?
About, bro? He ain't been that bad this year. Like,
how many extra possessions he give to Cincinnati last year?
Possessions did Malik Willis give him?
None.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so who's the better quarterback, right?
Who's the better quarterback?
Who's the better quarterback? Malik Willis or Ryan Tannehill?
Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill's the better quarterback.
So
but hold on. Don't just. That's not that cut and dry black and white. That's not that cut and dry black and white because Malik Willis can do a lot of things that Ryan Tannehill can't.
You just said no. You just said how many possessions would a veteran quarterback have given the Kansas City Chiefs? How many possessions did the guy who ain't played this is only the second start? How many did he give them?
So who's talking about?
Ryan Tannehill or Malik Willis?
Those are two different questions. Ryan Tannehill is a better quarterback. I'm talking about the last time we saw him on a big stage. Bro. He gave the other team better possessions.
That was a big stage. Did that not happen? That was a playoff game, right?
Did that not happen?
Because that was the playoff game last night.
That's not the point, bro. Like you trying to put this all in a vacuum. Listen, Ryan Tannehill is a better quarterback, but Malik Willis brings something to that offense that he doesn't.
We're talking about a week 8 game compared to a playoff game, bro.
Like, that game was. Wait, hold on, Cortland. Hold on. You don't understand how big that game was, do you?
No, it was huge.
Win that game.
It was huge.
If you win that game, you're the number one seed.
Again.
We're in sole possession.
Again.
What I'm saying is,
and now you lose a tiebreaker to the Bills and the Chiefs, and you're a game behind them. That's a huge game.
We'll be number 3.
That is a playoff game for
you. But no one expected us to even be here this year, so
this is true. This is true. Yes. You right.
I don't know who didn't expect y'all to be here this year. Go look at my preseason predictions.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
I don't know why.
I called him a fraudulent number 1 last year, to be honest.
Yeah, do that. Look, everybody gonna talk about the completions. It's pretty clear that Vrabel doesn't believe in his ability to throw the ball, which is hilarious to me. Which is why I laugh when people show these off-season workouts of NBA players. I laugh when people show the college workouts when they're in the room, when they're on the field by themselves in shirts and t-shirts. They're like, oh, he was throwing bombs. I remember the Malik Willis videos. I remember them vividly. That kid was throwing lasers. I'm like, bro, none of this matters. Everybody can throw lasers when nobody's guarding you. You don't have to make a read. It ain't, 6'5", 6'6", 300-pound guys with 4.3 speed coming at you. None of that is happening. You just pitch and catch, right? Then you get in the game and can't complete a pass. But again, if I'm a Tennessee fan and I'm watching that game, I saw things to be excited about. That RPO with Derrick Henry and Malik Willis is very scary. Like, it's ridiculously scary. So to whoever in the comment, I think that's James, that said, what does Malik Willis bring to Tannehill? Okay, you ain't run no RPO with Tannehill. Ain't no threat for him to break loose with his legs. So again, they played a brand of football very similar to what we've seen Baltimore do in the past few years, right? We're going to play to his strengths. The kid got legs. Okay, we're going to RPO it to death, right? And it looked good when it was working. And then late in the game, it was when you become that predictable, right? You become that predictable. Yeah. They couldn't do enough outside of that. But if you watched and saw that, you went, okay.
But I'm seeing what really excited me about Malik Willis was the fact that when the man had time and he was able to drop back and throw, he threw literally 3 passes last night that were 20-plus yard dimes and receivers. Boop, boop.
By the way, Cortland, you guys are only an A.J. Brown player away from, being a much better offense.
Don't do that. We live rent-free in that man's head.
A.J. Brown, Mr. How many games?
Flag on the play. Flag on the play.
I'm gonna
Right.
let that one go tonight. But yeah, John, you know better, so I'm gonna
No,
have to.
but
Yep.
real quick though, we got really tied up into Tennessee because that's Cortland's team. I just don't understand, man. I get it. People are allowed to think what they want to think, and I think this team is good. And we all saw last year that divisional game was phenomenal. We all saw like, yo, Buffalo's arrived. But I don't know why so many people came into this season with this disrespect for Kansas City, like Buffalo's a lock. In what world?
Ray, I had no disrespect for Kansas City. None.
The word lock is disrespectful, and that's the word he used.
But that was Cortland's word. What I'm gonna tell you is this. I wasn't showing disrespect to Kansas City. I was just showing more respect to Buffalo based on the talent that they had when the season started. I did feel like Tyreek Hill was not going to be as successful in Miami as he was in Kansas City. I also felt like Patrick Mahomes utilized Tyreek Hill when needed for those 3rd and longs. That was the play. The play was, if it was 3rd and 13, I'm going to throw it to Tyreek Hill. He's going to get me a first down. Stop him if you can. Okay? When I look at Buffalo with the addition of finally Devin Singletary finally showing up and getting short yardage, I knew what Gabe Davis was. I knew what Stephon Diggs was. I knew what Josh Allen was. And then you go and get Von Miller, who just won a Super Bowl with the Rams, and you bring him to Buffalo to shore up that defense?
With
and no way am I
and Michael
Patrick
Hyde?
Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs were anywhere like, I'll throw a team out there and please forgive me, Houston Texans. But I'm saying to you, to me, Buffalo was just that better. Not by much, but better. So were they a lock in my opinion? I've said it since preseason. I didn't say lock, but I said Buffalo is my pick to go to
Is Josh Allen making $500 million?
Josh Allen is not making $500 million.
Close.
And is their coach Andy Reid?
Their coach is not.
That's those difference makers on Kansas City, and I kind of feel Ray on this actually, and we don't agree a lot, but I think that's kind of disrespectful actually to say as a lock.
Okay, so
good coaching matters, and we're talking about
Sean McDermott can't
Patrick
coach.
Mahomes.
Where does Sean McDermott
I did not say that. I said he was Andy Reid. Andy Reid has that resume to back it up. How many times? Hold on. How many times have the Chiefs been into the Super Bowl in the last 5 years?
Twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
Straight AFC
Have
champions.
the Bills made it there?
No.
Yeah, but the Bengals did last year. They went back to last year's playoffs. Cincinnati went into Kansas City with no offensive line and beat them because of Kansas City's defense was crap. So if you're going to tell me that coming into the season, I'm not saying disrespect Mahomes because Mahomes is my number one quarterback in the league. Right. But if you're going to sit there and tell me that their defense didn't get any better and they lost to Cincinnati at home, and the Bengals went to the Super Bowl. Is it
a game changer if Patrick Mahomes gets hurt? Is it a game changer if Patrick Mahomes gets hurt? Yes. So it's absolutely a game changer that Josh
played the whole game. Patrick Mahomes played the whole game. Joe Burrow outplayed him.
Mike, listen, when I say it's disrespectful to say Buffalo was a lock, when you use the word lock, right? So next year, NBA draft, Victor, and I never say his last name right, is a lock. He is a lock for the number one pick, meaning nobody else has a chance. That's what you're saying when you say lock.
Yes.
If you tell me that Buffalo's a lock for the Super Bowl, and the other guy, since he became a starter in the NFL, has never went any less than the AFC Championship game, you're telling me that guy doesn't have a chance? I can't buy that. I can't buy that. I can't even listen.
He made Texas Tech look good. Do you know how hard that is?
I'm going to tell you why I said he was a lock.
Well done, Megan.
I'm getting with you on the word lock.
He got Cliff Kingsbury a job in Arizona. Patrick Mahomes got Cliff Kingsbury that job.
I'm gonna tell you
that's how good Patrick Mahomes is.
Cliff Kingsbury getting hired at USC got him the Cardinals job. If we're going to connect,
I'm gonna tell you why I use the word lock. The reason why I use the word a lock on the preseason was the very reason that Eric just said. Von Miller, you had Gabe Davis, you had a running back core that was going to get better he's gotten Singletary has gotten better over time. Zach Moss, unfortunately, now was in Indianapolis, but he was getting better. Then on top of that, like Josh Allen, I just kind of felt like Josh Allen was going to make that game last year. A lot of people saw it as, hey, these are two teams that's duking it out. And Ray said this on the show last year, or I believe earlier in the year, where he was like, a lot of quarterbacks get more, too much credit for winning or wins and losses or whatever. And he was like, that game came down to whoever got the ball last, right? I kind of felt like, okay, so how do you ensure or heighten your chances of getting the ball last? What do you do as an NFL team? You get better in the areas that you lacked in last year. You had to get the ball out of Patrick Mahomes.
Did the time not run out on this exact same team this year? This year it happened again. They ran out of time. Was he not breaking tablets? Was he not breaking tablets up there in the press box?
I mean, and I get that, but I'm saying like Von Miller heightens your chances. Von Miller, heightens your chances. They made the moves to heighten their chances of getting to the Super Bowl, and I kind of felt like with the cumulative talent and Josh Allen, just pushing himself to that level of we haven't seen. We've seen Josh Allen get better and better and better every year. He's come back better and better.
Hold on.
Let me ask you this question, Ray, really quick. Stop. Ray, let me ask you this one question really quick. Since lock is a disrespectful word, and both Cortland and I are saying the Buffalo Bills were our pick to make the Super Bowl.
You said they were your pick. From you, it was a lock.
Oh, I'm asking you. He said they were a lock. I did not use the word lock. Let me ask you. To not be disrespectful to the Kansas City Chiefs, but still remain feet to the ground on Buffalo, what word could we have used?
No, I did the show with you. You've been on Buffalo since the start of the season, and a lot of people have. There's a new shiny toy, right? I got no issue with nobody saying, yo, Buffalo, that's my pick, right? That's cool. But to me, how I talk sports, right?
Right.
If for me to say somebody's a lock, it means you bugging and you out of your mind to say somebody else, right?
Okay. So I just want to say one. I want to say one thing. I'm a keep, because we keep receipts. Don't you ever say the Golden State Warriors are a lock.
It depends on.
That's different than Steph Curry. That's Steph Curry.
It depends on who they playing and what they doing.
Hold on, I'll give you. Hold on.
Let me throw this grenade in the room real quick, though. This grenade in the room.
Go ahead.
Not only is Buffalo not a lock to make the Super Bowl. Here's one. Throw this grenade.
Say it, baby. Say
Buffalo might not be the best team in their own division.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wait, if you want to talk disrespect,
can I use a guest pick? Can I use a guest pick?
Hold on.
The toxicity on Sports Arena tonight.
This whole lock for the Bills.
Toxic.
God, dude. This whole lock,
you miss
team
Monday.
that got disrespected the most, that their offensive line is better because it couldn't got any worse, is the Bengals. And I'm sorry, did Joe Burrow forget how to play quarterback? Yeah, Jamar Chase went down. Oh, and Joe Mixon yesterday against a crap team went for 5 touchdowns. Joe Mixon's not Nick Chubb. But if you want to talk going into Kansas City and beating the Chiefs, the Bengals did it last year, right? We talked about last year's playoffs with Tennessee. So the Bengals,
you know what the problem with the Bengals is that
they did it for the Chiefs. The Bengals did it to the Titans and the Chiefs. How are they not disrespected coming in the season?
No, the Bengals did not do it to us.
But Joe Burrow's going to suck all of a sudden? Answer this. Is Joe Burrow
Is he still going to be the most sacked quarterback in the league because they spent all that money on an O-line that's not protecting him?
But he's not the most sacked this year.
Well, Mike, here's the thing, though. Right now,
he's right there. He's right there.
Who won the big game, Megan, who won the big game last year between the Bengals and the Chiefs?
I understand.
Who won the big game?
I understand.
Who won the big game?
Mike,
answer that question. Who won it?
Cincinnati.
What you're doing right now, though, what you're doing right now is I'm gonna make an argument for the hell of it. Just like a bunch of people. Hold on, real quick.
Because it's disrespect to the team that got to the Super Bowl.
Just like a bunch of people walked away from the Kansas City Buffalo game and then came.
The Rams won the Super Bowl and they look like trash.
Right, but a lot of people walked away from Buffalo and Kansas City coming into this year and went, yeah, Kansas City beat them, but Buffalo is better, right? Cincinnati beat Kansas City and went to the Super Bowl. Did anybody, including you, Mike, coming into this year, think Cincinnati is a better team than Kansas City?
Better?
Your silence tells me that you just spitting bullshit. You just made that big old argument and then couldn't say they're better.
Beats them. Do you think Cincinnati? Do you think Joe Burrow lacks the confidence of going into?
I don't think he lacks confidence.
Better.
I just asked you, do you think Cincinnati's better? And you couldn't answer it. So you gave that long soliloquy just to take up our time for nothing.
I'm thinking, no, it's not, because I do think Cincinnati can beat them. Cincinnati can beat them. Can Cincinnati beat them? Can Cincinnati beat them? Did they beat them in the AFC Championship? Excuses for that. We can talk what Tennessee did last year, but when we say Kansas City, Cincinnati beats them, but it's just a fluke. It's a fluke. Cincinnati beat them. They went into Arrowhead.
Can we talk about how Derrick Henry was not 100%, and if he is 100% Derrick Henry in that playoff game?
What did Megan just say about the offensive line?
No.
What did Megan just say about the offensive line? What did Megan just say about the offensive line?
Cortland, you're going to appreciate this. If Derrick Henry is 100% on that 3rd and 1, he doesn't hesitate, and he runs right through there, gets that first down, and the game's over, and Cincinnati never gets to Kansas City. So make sure
keep going, John. Keep going.
Coulda. They didn't. They sacked him 9 times, and they still put up points. And your Dolphins were home. What do you care? Either way, Cincinnati's still there.
Okay. All right. I had it with everybody tonight. Look, y'all going to have to calm down. We got a show to do. We still got a whole nother hour, and we going on 2 topics. So I'm going to need everybody to take a minute. We're going to need to take a break because clearly we've been going on way too long, and everybody just yapping. We're going to take a cooling off period. We will be back. All right. Welcome back into the Sports Arena. I'm your man, Eric Wilson, here on the Monday night. I'm going to get the crew in here. I apologize if y'all thought that this Monday was going to be something different than what it was, because clearly y'all know that's what we do. It's a bunch of opinionated folks who ain't scared of nobody. And as I always say, I ain't a hard man to find, and neither are my crew. Mike Carrottenuto from the left coast to west coast back with us. My co-host Ray Lynn is in the building. We got our special guest, Cortland Griffin. Megan and John they stepped away for a moment. So, Ray, I'm going to give you and Mike and Cortland each 30 seconds to get your final word on this whole Josh Allen, Cincinnati, Kansas City thing off your chest.
Right.
And then we going to keep it moving.
I don't even think we ever got to that. We went left. I will say to the initial topic, it is, man. It's a big deal. Like, even though I felt it was disrespectful to say they're a lock, they were clearly one of the betting favorites, right? I felt like Kansas City and Buffalo were the 2 best teams in the NFL this year, bar none, right? Regardless of what they did when they played other people, regardless of their records, right? I think they were the 2 best players. I think Josh Allen and Mahomes are the 2 best quarterbacks. So when that guy goes down, again, that changes. Imagine having to go into Buffalo in the AFC Championship game, right? In that cold weather. Well, now this could flip-flop the standards, and we don't know what's going to happen. So, like, prayers up for Josh Allen. I hope it's not serious. But him going out for any significant amount of time changes the whole playoff picture, and that's a pretty big deal.
Yes, it does change the whole playoff picture. I don't disagree. But for 4 weeks, obviously, the rest of the season would definitely impact the whole playoff picture. But Buffalo is still going to hang around. They are well coached, and they're a team. But, yes, going in, you figure – Kansas City loses in the AFC Championship, like I said, to Cincinnati coming back. You're going to put them in as the favorites, but the AFC was supposed to be loaded. The West was supposed to be better. Kansas City has rose to the top, and Buffalo is still at the top. So we'll see what happens, but it changes a lot.
I'm just going to say this. I'm going to keep it 100% on Josh Allen, man. It's sad that this elbow injury happened. We've seen Ray Lewis have the same elbow injury. He came back, I think, to play in the playoffs and play in the Super Bowl. He's a quarterback, though. I mean, he was a linebacker. This is a quarterback he has to use, and it's on his throwing arm. So it sucks that this happens. Of course, you want them to be successful. You wanted Buffalo to be there. I wanted Buffalo to be there. I had them there. But this change, like y'all said, it changes the whole playoff picture. Tennessee now has a chance. The Jets now have a chance. Other teams now have chances to get there to be the number 2 overall seed. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. Now that I got everybody back in the mix, let's keep the show going here tonight on the Sports Event. I got the whole entire crew and our special guest from the halftime show. My man, Mr. Cortland Griffin, is in the building. Check him out, man. All right. Let's move on because it is halfway through the season, and we at the Sports Arena have some awards to give out.
Hey, right? Eric, real quick, can you pull Cortland's thing back up real quick?
Yes, sir.
This boy still ain't changed that spelling on his name. Me and you gonna have it out, dog.
No, it's changed now. The new one is updated and changed. This is on that picture.
My
Correct.
apologies. I need the new one, please, sir, so I can
I
do
appreciate
that.
you, Ray.
All right. We have some awards to give out here tonight on the sports screen. It is halfway through. First up, most valuable player. And Ray, I'm gonna start with you, sir, because you and I think you did this on purpose, but these are Ray Lynn's most valuable player halfway through the first half of the season. It is Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill. So Ray, talk to me, brother.
Imagine all off season, all we heard about these two players was how much it would affect their performance on the field that they didn't have each other anymore, right? On both sides of it. Who's supposed to throw Tyreek Hill the ball? John, I think we all owe to an apology, right? We all owe to an apology. He's looked very, very good. He looks like I said, those other guys in the draft class, it looked like Miami didn't make a mistake now. I still think Herbert is probably the best of the three, but Tua ain't lacking at all. But everybody talked about Tyreek Hill this offseason. He's not in over there with Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy's offense. He's not there with Patrick Mahomes getting him the ball. And all he's doing is leading the league in yards per game right now. He's still explosive. I think he has 4 games this year over 150. Like, I don't know. I need to look at his actual yards right now because we're halfway through the season and he has
4 games of 10 catches on 150
I
yards.
I think he's like don't he got like 1,100 yards this
he
year?
has 1,100 yards halfway through the season.
And Tua missed 3 games.
Right? He has 1,100 yards. That's unreal. And then the other guy who we heard it more for him. What's he gonna do without his safety net? What's he gonna do without when he can't throw the deep ball to Tyreek Hill? What's he gonna do when he get in trouble? What you just say, Eric? When it's third down, I'm just gonna Tyreek Hill's down there somewhere. I'm gonna throw it to him, right? Oh, let me see real quick. Who's number 1 in the NFL in passing yards? Oh, that'd be Patrick Mahomes. Who's number 1 in the NFL in touchdowns? Oh, that's Patrick Mahomes. Who's number 1 in yards per game? Oh, that's Patrick Mahomes. Who only has 6 interceptions? That's Patrick Mahomes. Who has the second highest quarterback passer rating? Actually, he done dropped after last night. He's down to 4th now in passer rating, behind one Jalen Hurts, Geno Smith of all people, and Tua Tagovailoa, right? So Patrick Mahomes is still looking like the best quarterback in the NFL. His team is sitting tied for the number 1 record in the AFC. He's number 1 in passing yards, number 1 in yards per game, number 1 in interceptions, and he's taking care of the ball. All without the other guy who's leading the league in receptions. Like you lose the guy who is now number 1 in the league in receptions, having a record-setting year. That's what you lost. And you still managed to play at this high level and keep your team in contention. These 2 guys right here are doing it on an extremely high level. My 2 top MVP candidates right now.
All right, so Ray, I'm gonna switch places with you really quick here because the next person up for MVP is someone who myself, and I can't believe this is happening, but the Queen of Hoops and I, this must be an ode to the WNBA and the fact that we actually get along, because normally you and I don't get along during this time of year, Megan. But both Megan Price and I are saying that this man right here, Jalen Hurts, is our MVP. Now, y'all already know for reasons. If you don't, you truly don't know who I am. But I want to hear from Megan why Megan feels that my quarterback, the only undefeated team in the entire NFL, is the MVP currently. Megan, I'm gonna defer to the Queen of Hoops on this one.
Okay, well, I'm going to address something that Ray Lynn said about Patrick Mahomes real quick. He said he had 6 interceptions, right? You know who has 4 less? Jalen Hurts. Accuracy matters. Yes, absolutely. And then I think as far as compare his yardage from last year, he had 31-44, and he's already almost at 21 right now, halfway through the season. Only 2 interceptions. I think that really matters. And then I think the ultimate thing here, winning matters. That record matters. What he's able to turn around with that team and do matters. Yes, the Eagles need some great moves outside of Jalen Hurts, but they got him the weapons for him to be the best him. They believed in him, and and their coach too believed in him. So for me, it's Jalen Hurts.
Megan, I'm sorry. I need a moment. I have never, just like Mike said, can we clip that? We're clipping this one right here because oh, wow.
And I hate OU quarterbacks. I hate OU quarterbacks. But I mean,
never
I got to
thought-
give credit where credit's due. And it is. It's due.
Wow. Mm. Mm-mm-mm. We just talked about this guy in our last segment, but Mike, you still have him as your MVP. So talk to us about Josh Allen, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about their offense and him taking the next steps. He's done it. I mean, he's gotten better every year coming in. What Brian Daboll and Ken Dorsey did with him from the beginning, but just focusing on this year. But yeah, he had one bad. He said what he played like yesterday. He didn't sugarcoat it in his post game presser, Eric. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, his post game presser was great. But yeah, I mean, what he can do throwing the ball, and then yeah, the running game, like you said. I mean, Singletary. Thank you for finally showing up to what they thought you could be. I mean, they went and got Nyheim Hines. It's a little nice switchblade to have, but him running the ball and being that much of the offense and having the comfort and just stepping in, losing your offensive coordinator, your quarterback coach gets promoted. The way he's played this year, the control, again, he has that offense. I mean, look, I know it's the Steelers and the Steelers are bad, but you're in the end zone. And like Ray said, you got some 300-pound dudes about to barrel down on you. Eric, he took like one step and flicked it with his wrist about 60 yards. And then Davis went the rest of the way for the 98-yard touchdown play there. Like, it's the plays like that, what he means to the offense, his command of it, what they do. And yeah, I mean, if he's out, it's going to change. But since the assignment was first half MVP, I'm going with Josh Allen.
Last but not least,
Eric.
Yes, sir.
If I just touch on, you know what, I probably should dial it back. And Mike is right, man. Josh Allen did this first half has been, I mean, absolutely. In fact, I don't even see where you could probably compare the two. I mean, if you look at him and Mahomes, the only thing Mahomes has on him is a higher completion percentage, more yards, more touchdowns, less yards, higher yards per game, higher pass rating, higher QBR. Other than that, Josh Allen has him, man. Other than all those categories, Josh Allen.
Does Patrick Mahomes have a better rating than Geno Smith? I mean, if you're going to throw numbers like that out there, where's Geno Smith? He's number one, right?
He's number two.
In pass
No.
Like that. Don't play that game.
Geno Smith is 107.2 in rating. He is the highest.
Tua Tagovailoa is 115.9.
Oh, he passed him yesterday. Okay, so he passed him yesterday.
He's been number one all year.
All right.
No,
so that would get us to John's.
Jalen Hurts has 107.8.
That would get us to John's MVP, which no surprise.
Bang bang.
Tua Tagovailoa. John, go ahead, man. Take your moment.
There's absolutely no way. We saw what the team looked like, what the energy looked like of this team, the 3 games without Tua. When he came back to practice after missing those 3 games, Tyreek Hill was running around in practice, jumping around. He said the energy absolutely changed the moment Tua was able to come back to practice from that concussion and missing all those games. He said as soon as he stepped foot on that field, the energy was absolutely different. He didn't throw a pass. He didn't do anything. He just walked on the field, and he said the team got energy in it. And we've seen what the Dolphins look like. They become a middle of the pack to below average team without Tua. When Tua plays there when he starts and finishes a game, he's 6-0. Yeah, the only other guy that's not lost a game this year is Jalen Hurts. There's only 2 quarterbacks that have done that. It's Tua and Jalen Hurts. And you guys talked about how Jalen Hurts is an MVP candidate. You have to start talking about Tua. I mean, back-to-back 300-yard games, multiple touchdowns, like leading the league in passer rating. I mean, if he doesn't, he's 600 yards before that game last night. He was 600 yards behind the league leader in yards, and he missed 3 games. If you give him 3 games and he's averaging 282 per game, he leads the league in passing yards.
That's not how that
Think
works.
about that. Okay. Think about that. He's only a couple. What was he? 5 touchdowns behind Patrick Mahomes going into last night. He's right there with Tom Brady. He's right there with everybody in passing touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes, of course, is on another level with all his touchdowns. But like what Tua's meant to the Dolphins, like I said, they're a middle of the road, below average team. But with him, we're talking about how the Dolphins are one of the best teams in the AFC, one of the most dangerous teams in the NFL. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle still played football in those 3 games, but the Dolphins weren't the same team when Tua was out. When Tua was in, It's a completely different game.
Honorable mention. I'm gonna go to Cortland. Cortland, really quick, man. Give me your pick for MVP.
I'm gonna go the route of Ray. I got two. One of them y'all might go have a point of contention. I got Derrick Henry, league leader in yards after last night. He's pretty much been the engine behind this team. The only reason that we won that game against the Texans was because of Derrick Henry's legs. Our quarterback only threw for 55 yards. Last night we were in that game because of 2 touchdowns from Derrick Henry. No pass touchdowns, no receivers caught a pass. This going back to last year. And the year before that, when we made a trip to the AFC Championship game, Derrick Henry has been the engine behind this Titans team. So I feel like he should get some love there. But I got to go with Jalen Hurts here. If I had to pick somebody who's the winner, I got to go with Jalen Hurts. It's impossible to say that a guy who's 8-0 at this point in the year, playing in a division where the Giants had a hot start, the Cowboys have had are still in that argument, that vein of being a team that could make a Super Bowl or make the Super Bowl, and you still wouldn't put those 2 teams above the Eagles, and it's because of that man number 1 that is quarterbacking that team. So I go with Derrick Henry and Jalen Hurts right now, who are my top 2 candidates.
All right, defensive player of the year, and Ray, I'm gonna start with you because you, sir, are saying Nick Bosa is your defensive player of the year. So I'm going to let you go ahead and take that one, sir.
This is one of those, let's go outside the box, because I know at least 3 people was on the show is going to pick that other guy. And he's very well deserving. I've been talking about him all year. They might can pencil his name in him. But Nick Bosa is quietly having a very good year. I think he's second in the league in sacks, and he's the driving force behind that defense. If you look at San Francisco, I think they have the number 1 defense, not number 1 scoring defense, but they've given up the least amount of yards in the NFL, and you just absolutely cannot run the ball against that team. I think it's 9 games in, 8, whatever it is. They've given up like 600 rushing yards. Like, it's unreal. He is the anchor of that defense. He's the captain, and again, he's getting to the quarterback. He's top 5, I think, in hurries or something like that, and again, second in sacks. So my outside the box pick was this guy to show him some love. Obviously, that other guy's going to get plenty of love here in the next few minutes. But Bosa is very worthy to be mentioned. If I was doing a ballot, he'd probably be number 2 on my ballot. So it was worth showing him some love on the show and talk about him.
It was you were the lone wolf on that one, because the rest of us, even myself, I, as much as it pains me to do it, but since Megan showed love to my quarterback, I gotta show love to a Penn State alum. I mean, this brother's a dog. Nothing more needs to be said. You've seen what he does. Doesn't matter if he's injured. Doesn't matter if he's healthy. He'll go out there and give you 120% each and every time he steps foot on the field. My only problem with him is the team that he is currently on. That's it. I can't say nothing else. I'll let Megan, Mike, John. Go ahead, Ray.
You know what I love about Micah is that what he brings out of everybody else on the defense. Like, we've seen D-Law really turn it up this season as well. Like, I think that there's been a lot of other players that he sets the tone, and he brings that energy. And so I think that that's something that sometimes when the numbers don't reflect something, even though his numbers obviously reflect it, that's something that you can't, what did Jerry say? You can't draft that. And he has that.
Yeah, and to piggyback off Megan, Eric, I'll keep it short because you're right. He is. I'm glad you got the Penn State in there because I was going to put that in there for you because we're good friends like that. But it's DeMarcus Lawrence, and Megan and I have talked about this off air before, how he's been injured and it's been frustrating. But Micah Parsons brings that energy. Look at somebody like Armstrong, and then look at Dante Fowler. Like, even when Parsons isn't on the field, and yes, Dan Quinn has a little bit to do with that, to overstate the obvious, but. I mean, the Cowboys number 1 in sacks at 33, number 2 behind. And Eric, I give your Eagles defense props in turnover differential. The Eagles are plus 15. The Cowboys are the next closest team at plus 6. But hey, Eric, the NFC East sucks, just so you know. So we know that. But no, to what Megan said, like it's the energy he brings, what he does. Yeah, the 2 plays that they showed the replay a lot of on Sunday Night Football when he got caught in no man's land. When as a pass rusher shocked me, he should just go after the quarterback. Like, don't drop out, just go try and make a play. But yeah, I mean, overall, what he does for the rest of that defense puts the other people in the right position too. Obviously, Dan Quinn doing that. But yeah, Micah Parsons is a freaking beast and a teeny bit undersized, but making some big linemen look slow, and they're not slow linemen.
Cortland, anybody on you? Anybody outside of Nick Bosa or Micah Parsons?
Shoot, man. Let me give two guys again, man. Zadarius Smith, I think deserves he deserves a heap of praise, man. That Vikings defense is good because of him, in a lot of ways. And if you look at that back end, as talented as they are, it starts with that front. And Zadarius Smith is the progenitor. He's the catalyst for that. Like y'all said with Michael Parsons, he brings the best out of that defense. But I'm also going to talk about another guy, man. I got to give love to my guys when I can, because it's not often that they get love. But Jonathan Simmons, a guy who I said is the 1B to Aaron Donald's 1A, is having a hell of a season quietly for that Tennessee defensive front. Anytime we need a pressure, he's in the quarterback's face. Anytime we need a run stop, he's in the place. This man had made 2 plays early in the season, like in the same game, where he's running sideline to sideline like a linebacker. He's chasing guys 60 yards, 30, 40 yards downfield as a defensive lineman, making plays, passes defense, right? Dropping back in coverage on a goal line play against Washington and making a stop. Like getting a stop. Like, these are the things that man Jeffrey Simmons does. I think he should get some love. Of course, I went and looked up Aaron Donald's 2017 season. He's on pace to have that kind of season. I think he should get some love.
Plus, he has his own zip code, Cortland.
Right.
All right, next up,
Hey, Eric.
Yes, sir.
And I just wanted to add, because I didn't want to talk about him much because everybody else did. But the thing with Micah Parsons, like, if you was the type of person to say, I'm going to go look up these numbers, they won't wow you. But if you watch Dallas play, and it's funny, Cortland brought him up, y'all know how I feel about Aaron Donald. Micah Parsons has that kind of effect on football games. When you watch the game, you just go, that dude right there is special, and they're not what they are without him in the mix. Like, he makes everything work for Dallas. Going back, I remember the first game of the season. It was like, when you need a play, he's there. Y'all played Tampa Bay in week 1, right?
Yep.
Every time it was like a third down and Tampa Bay needed, like, there was Micah Parsons. Like, he's just, that kid is special. Like that, y'all got one.
He was the only one that showed up to that game.
Yeah.
No, the offense didn't show up.
A guy we haven't mentioned, because mine was Parsons, but I didn't get to really mention him. A guy we really didn't talk about, and we probably should. He's not getting a lot of love because they're not very good teams. Matt Judon on the Patriots. He's having an absolutely insane.
He leads the league in sacks, right?
Leads the league in sacks, 11 and a half.
Absolutely insane this year. He's one of the only reasons they're 5-4. Otherwise, they'd be absolutely nowhere. So
Well, you should have put him in instead of picking Micah Parsons.
Hey,
That's what you should
John.
have
I was just giving an honorable mention because I didn't get to talk about my defense.
You should have talked about the dude in y'all division that's having a hell of a season and could
Matt
go down
Milano?
and have his own.
Screw Matt Milano. That guy's dirty.
Sauce Gardner. The man that gave up a touchdown.
Get out of here with Sauce. Get him off the show.
Okay, bye. You said get him off the show, so that's what we're doing.
Yeah, bye.
All right.
Sauce Gardner.
3 years.
Coach of the year.
Sauce,
Next up. So, Ray, you and Megan actually went this route with the one and only Mr. Robert Saleh, the head coach of the Jets, Jets. And again, now that we all on the screen, let me say it again. Sorry, Mama Carrots Noodle.
I think Ray just did that because he keeps apologizing to her, so he picked Robert Saleh. Thanks, Ray. I'll let her know.
Ray, I'm going to let you and Megan do this one, talking about Robert Saleh.
Yeah, I remember we did a segment on the Carolina Panthers, and I went on this long rant about, I asked y'all, would y'all rather be mauled by bees, or y'all remember that?
Yes.
And I said that's what it's got to feel like to have to pick between Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold as your quarterbacks. And then lo and behold, Carolina wound up throwing another guy in the mix with Walker. The New York Jets have started Zach Wilson and Joe Flacco at quarterback this year. Joe Flacco and Zach Wilson have been your starting quarterbacks. Your best player was a rookie running back who's now out. And they just steal pieces. Like, they just went out and beat Buffalo yesterday. Like, I predicted this team to win like 3 games. They've doubled that already halfway through the season. Is it sustainable? I don't know. Can they win 12 games? I don't know. But right now, sitting at 6-3, nobody on this panel, anybody. If you say you had the Jets at 6-3 at this point, you're lying, right? Like it's unreal. Like, I don't even. If they gave out the award right now, his name would be etched in it, and I don't even think it would be close.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't have him at 6-3, but I had him at 500. So
this is 3 games over 500. Like, 500 means they can lose their next 3 and still be there. right? Like,
Right.
They're playing phenomenal, man. They're winning games that we didn't think they would win. That's all I can say.
Despite
Is you have to
massive
give credit to the
injury,
coach.
you know what I mean?
And you can't. And
And
the
then-
thing is, you can't even pinpoint a player. It was Breece Hall, but now he's out. You can't pinpoint a player where you go, that guy's holding that team up. Like, you look at Dallas and you go, Micah Parsons. You look at Kansas City, you go, Patrick Mahomes. You look at Miami and you go, Tua. Like, when he was out, they lost. When he played, they won. There's not a player you can pinpoint that's responsible for their success. So we got to credit the coach, right?
It's fraudulent.
Yeah, John can say what he wants about Sauce
Okay.
Gardner.
I agree. I agree
Go ahead,
with that
Megan.
because, like, when you talk about somebody else like Dabble, like when you say the Giants, and are they going to have that success without Saquon doing what he's doing? Like, nobody on the Jets. There's nobody. Zach Wilson didn't play in all of those games. Like, there's nobody. Like, Ray's right. There's nobody that you can just pinpoint as, oh, they're saving their season over there. So yeah, it absolutely has to be the coach. And I say this all the time: good coaching matters.
It does.
All right, I'm gonna let the peanut gallery back in here. Could y'all two just take a breath? Y'all get your moment. Just take
I
a
don't know
breath
what you're
tonight,
talking
fellas.
about, man.
All right. Anyhow, Mike Harrod-Snudo, you're up now.
And he's all up in his arms.
Well, as much as I mean, Robert Saleh's right there, but I mean, both of them are coaching in the same stadium, Brian Dable, and I hear what Megan just said, but like, and no one's saying, and I'm not saying, so hear Jimmy, don't listen to Jimmy, hear Jimmy on this, that Saquon Barkley healthy obviously is huge. Daniel Jones is not the interception machine that he was last year. Granted, when Saquon's out, it does make a huge difference. Another Penn State guy, probably the best player in that draft too, arguably. And like Eric said, his highlight reel, but what Brian Dable came in and done, and I said one of the biggest signings, even though according to John, it doesn't matter. You can just put a flag football player there. You bring in Feliciano, the center, who Brian Dable knows that he knows the calls, knows the offense he wants to run, and gave it to Daniel Jones slowly. And look, I said the Giants would be a surprise. Like, they might be surprising better than we think this year because Saquon's healthy, but I didn't see this, man. But yeah, I mean, I make a case for Brian Dable, but like I said in the discussion, I mean, with Robert Saleh right there, I mean, hey, the Jets need to win something, man. So that would be a great start. And yeah, but Brian Dable's done a hell of a job.
All right, John Scheer, you and I are up, sir, because I was very surprised when I saw this. I thought I would be the only person, but you and I both went with this man, Pete Carroll.
I don't understand how anybody ignored what he has done in Seattle. Like, I know I get the Jets thing, but when we all looked at this guy, like when we all looked at the Seahawks, we all laughed. We're all like, this roster is garbage. Like, this team's terrible. They got Geno Smith or Drew Lock before the season. Like, that was their choices. And that was kind of like Ray Lynn's, mauled by bees or killed by a bear thing. Like, either way, you were screwed before the season started. And Pete Carroll got rid of Russell Wilson, and we're all like this team's dead. And then they drafted Kenneth Walker, and they're beating the Niners by 2 games in the division. They beat the Niners head-to-head this year. The team that you guys are talking about going to the Super Bowl, representing the NFC, or at least getting the NFC Championship, they beat them head-to-head. They're beating them by 2 games in the division. They beat the Rams. They beat the Cardinals. And this is with Geno Smith. We wrote to him and he ain't right back. Like, the job Pete Carroll's done with it, what we all thought was a terrible roster, and they just keep winning. And they beat the Giants, and they beat the Niners, and they just keep beating everybody. And it's like, at some point, we got to look at what Pete Carroll has done and said, you got rid of Russell Wilson, and it didn't matter. Like, the job he's done's a hell of a job.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off that and simply say this. It was one of those things where when I saw this, I thought it was truly the end of an era. I thought Pete Carroll was just there as a consolation prize. But to see what this team has done, still with Tyler Lockett, still with DK Metcalf, I'm in shock. So clearly, what you can do is something that a true head coach does. He works with what is given to him and still has a proven track record. So I can't ignore that.
And Eric, to piggyback off that, they play defense too. We know who Pete Carroll's a defensive guy, but look, and when we looked at their roster, and John's right, because we all laughed and said, at least we know the Seahawks are going to be in last place with whoever they play at quarterback. But that defense every week, I will say this: who's ever in front of them,
No, they show up. They
And
definitely
they have,
show
what,
up.
a third round corner, rookie corner. It's like the #1 graded corner in the league.
Go
Like,
ahead,
that's
Ray.
insane.
I have to throw this honorable mention out because I think when we start talking coach of the year, typically we look for the underdog story, right? We look for a coach who is exceeding by far expectations, right? We're talking about the Jets and the Giants. Nobody expected them to be good. We're talking about the Seahawks. Nobody expected them to be good. But we never look at the team that we expected to be okay, but they're great. Like when a team is sitting undefeated and has the second-ranked offense and the fourth-ranked defense, like we got to talk about Nick Sirianni. We got to talk about Nick Sirianni. I didn't know he was going to give you a pick. He's about to move on. Like, he be trying to be humble and not mention his own team. But, like, there's something to say about a team that squeaked in last year and now is running away with the whole, not just their division, not just their conference. They're ahead of everybody. Like, well, they only had Minnesota by one game. But they're undefeated, man. Like, they're the last team standing.
Can I throw this last because since Ray just had to take my pick? Great minds think alike. But I think a guy who won it last year should get some. Again, one of my guys, right? Got to give him some. Mike Vrabel, right? Again, a team. I said it earlier, and y'all agree. A team that no one had where they are right now, right? 5-3, and if not for the unfortunate results last night, could have been 6-2 going into Week 9. This team is there again. Ryan Tannehill hurt, and there's no questions around. Okay, well, maybe can they win these games? Like we beat Houston, a team that people had us splitting with. Like we're 3-0 in the division, though our division sucks. But like we're 3-0 in the division. We're a lock. We're still the 3 seed in the AFC right now.
Again.
Like this is the thing that like people gloss over. This is the thing that like once a team has been so good and a coach is so good for so long, you overlook him. He was the coach of the year last year. I think he should get some love this year as well.
Can I respond?
Okay. Eric,
all right.
Can I respond to that? You said you're 3-0 in this horrendous division, but you're 2-3 outside of the division. Like, how's he a lock? How's he coach of the year?
I didn't say he was a lock.
You said they're locked for 3 seed, and you said he's coach of the year.
I said we are the 3 seed right now in the AFC.
But how would you even put him close to being
love.
coach of the year? You beat
one had him
your
close
horrendous
last year.
division, and you can't beat anybody outside of your division. You haven't proven anything.
I apologize to Mike Cartenuto for ever calling you a homer about the Phoenix Suns or the Dallas Mavericks. John, I apologize for anything I've ever said to you about the Heat and the Dolphins. Eric, your 76ers, your Eagles. Megan, I apologize for the jokes about you sitting outside the stadium waiting on your baseball team, all of that stuff. Like, I really apologize because nobody's a bigger homer than Cortland. We had to talk about Derrick Henry for MVP. We had to talk about Jonathan Simmons for Defensive Player of the Year. We had to talk about Vrabel for Coach of the Year. Next thing he's going to tell us their punter's not getting enough recognition. Our field goal game is old point.
Ryan Stonehouse is not getting enough recognition.
This is ridiculous.
And I ain't going to apologize.
Okay.
I ain't going to apologize.
You would think they was 12-0 the way he talking. They 5-3 and everybody got to win an award.
For the first time, Cortland, sorry, you got to go. Okay. Now,
he said the punter.
Halfway through the season, I have to show everybody where teams are at and what our preseason predictions were. So we're going to start in the AFC West, the division that we thought was going to be just stacked from top to bottom. Here are the current standings. Sorry, I guess I should be a little more presentable. So let me do that really quick so y'all can actually see what I'm doing. Pardon me. Technical difficulties, people. Okay. Trying to host.
Somebody said the Broncos were going to be ass, and I'm pretty sure it was me.
Megan, you were right. Megan Price, you did say that as soon as I can't find anybody now, I done lost everything. Oh, there it is. Never mind. Haha. Here we go. Our preseason predictions. Okay. And yes, Megan, you were. Good Lord. Oh, Jesus.
Man, you really having technical difficulties. Oh, my goodness.
Stop it. Okay, here we go. Current standings for the AFC West. As we said, okay? This is what we all thought was going to happen. So y'all see this, okay? And Megan, yes, you were the low person on the totem pole with Denver being 8-9. The rest of us, I mean, listen, Chargers at 5-3. I don't know. But the Raiders, yeah, we were all wrong on the Raiders because they at 2-6. I don't see them pulling out 8 more wins. So we gonna move on.
Megan's whole prediction is the only one that's still in play.
Yeah. Yes. Let's move on. Here we go. The NFC West, a team that both Ray and I said that 3 teams could potentially come out of this division and make it to the postseason.
We was all wrong.
We all owe the Seattle Seahawks an apology.
Oh.
And if they
Eric.
lose every game between now and then, Mike would be the only person who is right. And the
Hey, Eric.
Rams,
Y'all gave all that love to San Francisco, and they sitting at 4-4.
I didn't.
Hey,
I
man.
need them to run the table, Cortland. I
Yeah,
need them to
8
run
and
the
9,
table.
man.
Y'all made it seem like them boys was.
I'm not too far off about Arizona, though.
Yeah, we
I
all
can't
way
wait
too
till we
high
get
on
to. I cannot wait till we get to the AFC South.
Okay. So here is the current standings for the AFC East.
Yeah, boy.
And again, I'm going to
What
say
did
it
the
for the
Jets
third time.
Dolphins score?
I'm going to say
What that Dolphins defense do against the Jets?
I'm going to say it for the third time tonight here on the Sports Arena.
Well, who did
Sorry,
we beat
Mama
the
Carrot Snudo.
Oh
Dang,
man, it's
bro.
brutal.
At least I gave him 6
Golly.
wins.
I gave him 7, baby. Yes.
At least I gave him 6 wins.
Thanks a lot, Ray.
So they gonna
Sorry,
drop
none of us expected this. It was not predictable.
Oh,
Big
I
dog,
would
you-
just like to say, referring back to this tells us a lot about these coach of the year picks. Like we all thought, oh, that's bad. That was real bad.
Dang. Hey,
Yeah.
so Eric and Mike, so they gonna drop the next 7 or next 8?
No.
Stop
No.
that, Portland. I
No.
say good things about your Titans. Stop that.
No, I'm saying I'm asking because y'all predictions was 7-10 and 6-11.
Oh, I had them at the most wins at 7. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I was just,
Mhm.
And
They
I
got
guess
dropped
I
in
owe
like 7 or
John a
8.
bit of an apology because I said Miami would be 5-12 and they're already at 6-3. So John, I
Yeah,
apologize.
get up out of here. I told you about that.
Sorry,
Dang,
not
Eric,
sorry.
you had them at 5-12
I can't
Yeah, I
stand-
tried telling him.
I can't stand John. That's what it was.
with
I had a
Jalen
phone.
Waddle and
Thanks a
Tyreek.
lot.
Let's talk about this division, though.
This trash division.
Okay,
Ooh.
trash division all
Okay.
you want. John Shear, Mike Carrot Snudo, y'all both owe me an apology. We sitting at 8-0 right now.
You could
Don't
go
worry,
1
you're
and
gonna
you
lose
could go
8
1
of your
and
next
7.
9.
Y'all can go
Okay.
1-8. Y'all can go 1-8 still.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
this much.
Hey,
We all,
hey, put
with
it
the
like this.
exception, with
Tyree
y'all-
was the only one that showed major love.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
yeah,
this
man,
much.
10-7.
Well, I was trying to be
True.
realistic. I wasn't trying to be, a true fan. I was trying to be realistic.
No, Big Guard gave him 12 and 5.
I was trying to be realistic at 11-6.
Look at these
But I will say
Giants,
this.
though.
Avery
Right, yeah.
Graves,
Look at the Giants.
when
8
Avery
9,
Graves
baby. Who
sent
was
all
right?
of us to career over,
I said 5-12.
when Avery Graves sent all of us to career over, I had to take that one. I had to take that one on the chin,
Mhm.
man. I'm telling you.
I gave him the most wins, though.
Okay,
My
let's
bad.
get to the AFC South. Here we go.
Ooh.
The AFC South. Mhm. And this is where we at. Mhm.
Look at the love I gave Tennessee, Cortland.
So Eric,
Ooh,
9 and 8.
Wait,
9
no,
and
look
8,
at the
8
Colts,
and 9.
though.
Houston.
Look at the Colts.
Yeah.
All y'all deserve another career over for having the Colts having that many wins. Hey, shame to yourselves.
Oh, wow.
Hey, I will say this: we might get Houston right. Someone might get Houston right, but they got a tie, so I don't know how that's gonna work.
Y'all
Go
should
back
be
to
ashamed of
what's the
yourselves.
records now?
Eric, I moved that we put ties in our predictions next year.
Yes.
Ain't nobody stopping you.
Yeah.
Man.
So let's go
And I
on
told
to
y'all that. Matter of fact, when y'all did that, Eric, I told y'all in the comments on that show, go back and look at them comments. I wish y'all could, because I told y'all the Colts was going to be trash, and y'all was like, no, that ain't going to be. With Cortland, when we do the AFC South, we're going to have you on the show. And now we look where we at now.
You
Man,
sound like
Carlin,
the
you
remember,
got- you only get-
remember win grapes right
You
now.
only get to play the AFC South 3 more times. You know you got to play teams
All right.
outside of it, right?
look. This
6-0.
is the division that we just had no.
And
clue.
nobody got a winning record. No.
We had no clue about this division because
That's crazy.
I
That's
mean
crazy.
Good
No one
Lord.
has a winning record in that
Mm-hmm.
division.
Bucks. They sure
And
know
what's-
how to mess up the picks.
And what's crazy is the Falcons still might win that division.
And the Falcons are 1 game away, and I
Let's
gave
not-
them 5.
Let's not gloss
Who's
over
winning-
Mike and Tyree giving the Panthers
who's winning-
9 wins.
Who's winning the Saints and y'all know who winning the Saints and Ravens game right now?
Baltimore
Baltimore
17-6.
losing
Okay,
me
right.
money.
Let's get to the last division, the last AFC, NFC in the North.
I knew
Man,
the Steelers was going to be
Oh
booty
man,
too.
I think I probably got the Steelers at 500. Yeah.
we all said roughly around that 500 mark.
I wanted to know. I had them at 9-8. I had mine is a published article. I had them at 9-8 because I gave Mike Tomlin the credit. But
I did too.
Me too.
I did too.
Man.
Cincy.
man,
And finally, the last division. Here we go. We're gonna hear Ray.
ooh wee.
Yeah. And here is what we predicted.
Man, I thought the Lions was going to be better.
Hey, the fact that the fact that y'all had them winning the division, the Packers winning the division, and
No, I had Vikings. I picked
well, yeah,
the
you
Vikings.
had the Vikings. You
Yep.
and Tyree had the Vikings winning the division.
Mhm.
I had the Vikings.
First off, he has them tied. He has them tied.
Yeah, and I gave the Vikings the division.
Yeah, but they're tied.
Okay, so yeah, but you have them tied there. So, but I'm saying
I
like
had Green
the
Bay
fact
at
that Aaron
13-4.
Rodgers, I didn't expect Green Bay to look as bad as they did, man, or they do.
Tried telling you.
This is depressing to look at.
I had them at 10-7. I had them at 10-7. I had the Vikings at 13 and 13.
It's such a weird season, though. So many
Yeah,
teams
it's
that
really
we thought were
odd.
going to be good. Like the
why
surprises
the
and the
NFL's best.
disappointment segment. Like, it's so shocking this season.
All right. Let's keep moving, ladies and gentlemen. Because now it is time to get to what we think our biggest surprise of this season has been thus far. So, Raylin, I need to get you out your funk, my brother. Your biggest surprise, sir, you said was going to be or is the Miami Dolphins. Talk to me.
Yes, man, they're good. They're good. It's sometimes you do these football pick'ems and you talk sports and you try to base a team off what you've seen in years past instead of like really seeing what's going on right in front of you. And like I've said on a couple of shows, the only reason I didn't have two in my MVP was for 2 reasons. One, obviously the game's missed. And then I think the other guy probably has been more valuable, right? Like we know it's kind of a quarterback's award, but I think the addition of Tyreek Hill has made that offense absolutely explosive. But with Tua on the field, they're like 14 out of their last 15 or something like that, right? I mean, if you want to be technical and count the game he started and then went out, okay. But games that Tua has started and finished, 14 or out of the last 15 or something like that, they're just really good. I expected them to improve. I didn't expect them to improve this much and be this good this fast. Like I said, it's not a surefire thing that Buffalo's going to win that division. Miami, for real, they're the real deal, and I didn't think it would be this good this fast.
Megan Price, you said your biggest surprise, in fact, was the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, I think we touched on this when we talked about Coach of the Year nominations. Like, I just don't think any of us expected Seattle to be leading their division, and then Geno to look as good as he is. Like, they just lost so much, and none of us, I think, really even expected this. They're 6-3. They're number 1 in the West. Geno's got almost 2,200 yards and 15 touchdowns and only 4 interceptions. Like, they're balling over there. It's just total shock.
Mike Carritenuto, trying to stay in the will. Your biggest surprise is the New York Jets.
Jets. That's right, because now it's my floor. And, yeah, John Stokey, Miami is a little surprising because we just expect Miami to lose. But Tua doesn't play defense, and he wasn't going to make up. I don't know. I think the Jets just scored again, Eric. It was 40-something to what? So, yeah, with what they're doing on defense, and Sauce Gardner, who, according to John, is nothing. Okay. Thank you, Portland. But, yeah, the Jets, look, Robert Saleh's done a phenomenal job. And, yes, Zach Wilson is he started the season obviously injured. And like Ray said, you didn't expect Joe Flacco to mount a comeback against them, even though it's the Browns. But still, that running game, nobody expected the Jets to mount that comeback and then go on that crazy win streak. Yeah, they lose last week to the Patriots. I mean, Zach Wilson gave him the game, But then they rebound and beat the Bills. Like, they're definitely the biggest surprise, and I can't wait till they put up 45 on the Dolphins again.
Yeah, wait until Tua actually plays in that game.
So my biggest surprise is the Las Vegas Raiders. I am just I can't believe it. I was for certain when Derek Carr got Devontae Adams, I thought for sure this was going to be it. You got a beautiful stadium out there in Las Vegas. You got Derek Carr, you back together, college teammates, reunited, and it's supposed to feel so good. Y'all have been the biggest surprise because for a team that was on the come up, even with all the adversity that you had last year, dealing with the whole Gruden situation, you still found a way to get yourself into the postseason or at least make a run at it. You thought that with now bringing in Josh McDaniels, your team was supposed to get better. And 2-6, that's my biggest. I still, and I know we're halfway through the season. Is there a possibility that y'all can rattle off a couple wins? Yes. But in that division, y'all were supposed to be dominant, and you weren't. John Shear, you are last up.
Yep. Your
Your biggest surprise, sir. Sorry, let me get this here. Let me get it right. Your biggest surprise being the New York Football Giants.
Yeah, man. I mean, with Brian Dable coming in, the Giants recently have, since Tom Coughlin's left, they've had a bad string of head coaches. Like, they've just ran into Ben McAdoo and guys like that, and Joe Judge. They've had that. And then Dable comes in, and he's never been a head coach. And he comes in, he changes the entire culture. And he does it at a press conference. And he doesn't come in like this big old suit and stuff. He just comes in with his lunchbox or his toolbox, gets out of his truck, his F-150 or whatever it is, gets out of his truck and just walks in like he's one of the guys. And when I saw that press conference, I was like, man, this guy's just like one of them. And that resonates with players. And then, they haven't done anything special. The Giants aren't special. The receivers, Kenny Galladay's quit on them many times. They traded away Kadarius Toney. Saquon Barkley got hurt in the middle of a game against Aaron Rodgers in London.
Sterling Shepard hurt.
They just keep having injuries, and they somehow keep winning. And I give that to Brian Dable. He's changed the entire culture. And yeah, maybe this isn't sustainable with Daniel Jones not being able to throw a football, but what he's done for that culture, I think this really it's like a ripple effect, and I think the Giants I think they're in good hands. So the biggest surprise for me has to be the Giants.
All right, Cortland, I'm gonna let you get one in there, brother. Give me your honorable mention. Who is your biggest surprise?
Man, I have to say my biggest surprise is Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, man. I just did not see that this team. I didn't think this team would be as bad as they are right now, what they've shown. I gave him so much credit as being a guy who, it doesn't matter that Devontae Adams is gone. It doesn't matter, that this team didn't make, maybe the best decisions as far as receivers go. I kind of felt like Aaron Rodgers could do it with anybody you put out there, and he's looked old this year. I know people said Tom Brady looked old, but Aaron Rodgers is looking old this year. So that was my biggest surprise.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, in fact, was our biggest surprise. So now let's go to our biggest disappointment. And as you see, don't stay here too long, people. All right. Biggest disappointment. Ray, I'm going to go back to you, my brother, because your biggest disappointment, sir, you said, in fact, was going to be the Las Vegas Raiders.
Man, they're pitiful. They're pitiful. Same thing, man. We talk about these quarterbacks and these weapons, right? You looked over the whole AFC, and we talked about, we know what Kansas City's doing. And Tua has Waddle and Tyreek Hill and Herbert. They got him some more weapons. And then Joe Burrow has his weapons. And Derek Carr and his weapons are supposed to be right there. Before the season started, they had Hunter Renfrow, they had Darren Waller, they had Jacobs, and they added Devontae Adams to that mix. You bring him in as your number one option. All those guys take a step down. Now you can't just put 8 in the box against Jacobs because you have him. You can't double cover Waller because you have Adams. He's supposed to open the field up for everybody, and this team's supposed to be legit. And then they started off their first couple of losses. You're like, oh, they're losing every game by one possession. It's just unfortunate roll, a bounce to the ball. Then they go out and get shut out last week. They're pitiful, man. They're absolutely pitiful. We don't keep talking about them. Like they're pitiful, and they weren't supposed to be. But oh well.
Megan, your biggest disappointment has been both Tom Brady and AA Ron.
Yeah, I think, yeah, man, it's looking like both of them should have hung it up last year. Now I think that, we both knew that, like Aaron Rodgers, he lost some of his, he lost his receiver, he lost a couple other people. We knew over there in Tampa that O-line was depleted and that their secondary is not very good. But we expected more. These are legendary quarterbacks. These are Hall of Fame quarterbacks. And so I think we just expected more. We weren't ready for Tom Brady to hit the cliff. Well, he hit the cliff. And he took Aaron Rodgers with it.
All right. Mike, your biggest disappointment being the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there with the Raiders. I know I gave you too many when I sent it. But, yeah, I mean – defensively coming into the season and the way the defense finished last year, you figure, man, they are a quarterback away. And we all thought, like we're saying, Seattle gets rid of him. Pete Carroll, again, that's a heck of a choice for coach of the year. Get rid of him. And the Broncos offense can't score. And the defense, inevitably, I mean, it's still kind of balling out. It's not like they're giving up a ton of points. But, man, come on. Like, this division, and again, a lot of people thought this division was going to be insane. I know the Chargers are crazy injured right now, and they had to get a crazy play to beat the Falcons yesterday. I mean, they fumble it, they recover a fumble. Nonetheless, though, the Broncos, I mean, man, they just look terrible. Jacksonville gave them the game in London, and I just that to me is terrible. I'm with Ray. Like, there's nothing else to really say. Their offense is terrible. They have weapons. They do have weapons, good weapons. And they just can't get it done. Russ looks uncovered. They want to blame Hackett. Russ ain't making plays. And they got a lot of money wrapped up in Russ.
So for me, and Ray, I'm sorry, but my biggest disappointment are your damn Detroit Lions, man. I had so much faith. And I know you're a Lions fan, so you used to this. I'm not, man. I saw this team as something that was going to excite and electrify people this year. And I know, and it wasn't, I wasn't trying to be facetious. I was being true to my heart, saying if there was one team I expected to be on the come up, it was supposed to be the Detroit Lions. When you got DeAndre Swift and you got Amon St. Brown, and then on defense, you got the number 1 draft pick in Aiden Hutchinson. I know it's Jared Goff, but that team just, to me, it invoked something that was going to shock
it's
and
Dan
surprise
Campbell that invokes
a lot.
He could sell a dream to a dreamer. Dan
Okay,
Campbell.
well, guess what? I drunk the Kool-Aid.
They only 2
Call
games
it
out of
what
the
you
Hey,
want.
playoffs.
Eric, you know what you just did? You know
Me
what the
too.
equivalent of what you just did is when they, like, in a movie, like when they gut punch a dude and while he down on the ground trying to catch his breath, they come and rib kick him. That's what you just did.
But I'm not, seriously, I'm not trying to, because you can ask Ray all season long. I have been in support. Go back and look at our weekly pick'ems. I have been in support of the Detroit Lions winning.
Me
And it
too.
wasn't because they were playing the Cowboys either. It was because I believe in that team, man.
Hey,
And it's
That's
just,
how
I
you
heard
not
Ray
to.
say something. Ray, I heard you say something before. This is when I first did Sports Arena, and you said Aaron Rodgers owns us. Now, it doesn't matter what we do, who we have at quarterback, we can have all the talent in the world. Aaron Rodgers is going to beat us. Man, y'all just won a game against Aaron Rodgers. Like, number 12 was under center. Y'all played a hell of a game, bro. Like, you should be proud of that. At least that's something to build on. And I'm not trying to stroke your ego. I'm not trying to patronize you. Oh, y'all
Can't hear you, Ray. You muted.
I need to be muted. I'm a diehard Lakers fan, right? And do y'all remember the season where they won a game and they were celebrating like they won the championship, and Kobe was like, y'all remember that?
yes.
Like, when people like, y'all just beat Aaron Rodgers, bro. It's a regular season game and we 2-6. Like, our championship is, for the young players, for a guy like Aiden Hutchinson, he got his first career pick against Aaron Rodgers. And then the crazy thing is they gave us the game. Like, Aaron Rodgers threw 3 picks, 2 of which was in the red zone. I'm talking like they were on the cusp of scoring, and he threw those picks, man. At the end of the day, it just is what it is, man.
Nah, bro. I'm looking at a glass half full.
Don't.
Bro.
We
All right.
already know how Ray is with his
That's
line.
fine.
Glass half with 2-6.
Don't get him
Okay.
started. Don't get him
All
started.
right.
No. I'm just trying to.
We
You
gonna
know
keep
how I
moving.
feel right now, Eric. We supposed to be brothers. Like
But I know.
Ain't nothing else
Start
to
all
do,
over.
man. God, I was having a good day.
But I just listen to me. Okay, hold on. Let me talk to Ray real
Look,
quick.
I just told Dom yesterday. I said, "Don't let the Lions ruin your day. Don't do it."
Okay, here's my thing though. Everybody, and we talk about this all the time. Everybody loves the underdog story, okay? And I'm not saying that the Lions are underdogs. I just believe in them, okay? Like I believe, like y'all know me. I bleed green every single Sunday. Ain't no question about it. I ride with my team. And when Russell Wilson was in Seattle, I rode with him in Seattle because there was something about him in Seattle that I was like, yo, Russ is gonna get it done. And to his credit, he got one Super Bowl, albeit on a just ridiculous whatever. He got one. Okay. That to me was the Lions this year. It is the Lions this year. I believe in them. I ain't gotta be a fan. I ain't gotta wear the hat. I just believe in them because I've seen what they go through. I'm watching this and I'm like, are you kidding me? This talent is just, I don't know what it is. And maybe it is Jared Goff. Okay,
No,
maybe
it's
it is. I
Dan.
don't
I'm
know.
telling you, it's Dan Campbell. He's emotional, but he's tough as nails. He's so lovable. He had us believe in it.
And he wants to bite people's knees,
Ray
Megan.
tried
Love
telling
it.
y'all
I love it. I just
Okay.
love the energy he
All right,
has.
maybe that's what it is. But let's keep moving. John, you're up, my brother. I gotta find it here. Your biggest. What the heck is going on here? Good Lord, John, your biggest disappointment. Go.
Yeah, man. I went the Mike Cartenuta route. I took a page out of his playbook because he has one and Jeff Saturday doesn't. I went with the Rams. I went with the Cardinals. I went with
The Raiders. But your biggest
Raiders, yeah.
disappointment is the Rams. Go.
I mean, it's got to be the Rams, man. You won a Super Bowl last year, and you look absolutely different. You deserve this. Like, you absolutely deserve this for what you did to Robert Woods. The guy gave you everything he had last year before he got hurt and went down. And all you could do to him is ship him off because you went and got Allen Robinson, who can't play football. He has no idea how to play football. Ray, you were right about him before the season. Like, the Rams are the biggest disappointment. They can't. I mean, they look different. Stafford doesn't look like himself. The offensive line is just absolute disaster. Jalen Ramsey doesn't look like he knows how to play football anymore. I mean, if you watch that game against the Bucs, that last drive, Jalen Ramsey and the other corner, I believe it's Troy Hill, are playing 12 yards off. And the Bucs have no timeouts with 37 seconds to start a drive. They're playing 12 and a half yards off, giving Tom Brady, of all people, room to throw out routes at the first down line. Guy runs out of bounds. Catches it 10 yards, runs out of bounds. They did that the whole way down the field. And Jalen Ramsey, one of the top paid corners in the NFL, doesn't think to say, hey, I'm going to step up and play press coverage or at least play 5 yards off of my receiver instead of playing 12 and a half. And they let him do that the whole way down the field until they got to about the 3. And then Tom Brady threw a little pass to his tight end, and that was game. Like, the Rams are so disappointing. And Romo made a great point yesterday. It doesn't matter how great Aaron Donald is. What teams are doing is they're just throwing it within 2 seconds because the Rams are giving them 12 yards of separation to start. It doesn't matter if Aaron Donald gets in right away. They just throw a quick screen, and the DBs are 12 yards off. Rams are so disappointing in every regard. It's embarrassing.
Can I ask John a question, Eric? Can I ask John a quick question? So
it's never quick, but go ahead.
Oh, was mortgaging everything for last year worth it though?
They're paying for it now. And they're going to pay for it for a very long time.
Absolutely.
They have no draft picks.
Absolutely.
They got a lot of money tied up in Bobby Wagner, who's older. A lot of money tied up in Allen Robinson. Stafford's on his way out. McVay's on his way out. Donald's on his way out.
This is a yes or no answer, Eric. It's not my fault, Eric. I just wanted a yes or no answer.
Absolutely, it was worth it. Had to be.
Thank you. Right.
32 teams. Came one team won the Super Bowl. They went all in. They won it. I mean, like that you take that every day of the week.
And they capitalized.
If they are disappointing this year, John, I'm not arguing that point.
Absolutely.
They're disappointing this year, but yes, it was a facetious question, but it's worth it because you got the ring.
Win football games. You're talking about a Super Bowl.
It's one of the worst teams I've ever seen coming off a Super Bowl win.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to finish up tonight here on the Sports Arena with what our storylines are for the second half of the NFL season. All right, Cortland, since you're our guest, man, and I don't have you up on my board here, I'm gonna let you go first. What is your storyline for the rest of this season in the NFL?
Tennessee Titans.
What is the nuclear fallout? Yeah, of course. But what is the nuclear fallout of if Josh Allen misses the rest of the season? I know we talked about it earlier in the show, but what is the fallout? Of course, we know that the Chiefs are essentially going to probably finish, and if not, are 98% favorites to win it, to finish number one. But what is the nuclear fallout? Who are 2 through 6, 7, or 2 through 8? Like, who are those teams? Between Miami, Tennessee, your other team, and the Chargers. Will the Chargers wake up? Who are the teams that will wake up and compete for those spots? I think that's the biggest storyline. I think that's the overarching storyline until we know exactly what's going on with Josh Allen.
Okay, John Shear, I believe this is your storyline, sir. Nope, sorry.
Nope.
There we go. Can the Browns remain relevant until Watson returns?
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge one. I mean, the Browns have a really good roster, but obviously I said before the season, Jacoby Brissett's not a very good quarterback, and he's not. They got to hang on. They got to play Miami of all teams this coming week in Miami. Best of luck with that. They got to hang on for 3 more weeks without Deshaun Watson. I just don't see it happening, but I mean, that's a big story because if the Browns can get back in this with Deshaun Watson, that adds another threat to the AFC if Watson is the guy we think he is. We haven't seen him in 2 years. So to me, can the Browns remain relevant? I know they suck right now, but if they get a couple more wins, at least 2 in there, and then Watson comes back and he plays Houston, that team could be a threat. If they get into the playoffs with Watson, that's not a team you want to play.
I mean, they 3-5. Would you call that relevant?
It fully depends on what Cincinnati does.
Very true. But Mike, here's the question, baby. Can the Jets win the AFC East?
Yes. Can they actually win the AFC East? I mean, look, and it's not just overreaction from yesterday. It's they did beat the Bills, so you're the top team. They have smacked the Dolphins per John's excuses we've heard. And they're right there. I mean, look, the Patriots game, you saw how PO'd Robert Saleh was. And Eric, as you remember, because it is archived on the show, when they hired him, and not that anybody disagreed, I'm just saying it is the right hire. You can go with a defensive guy because of all the energy I saw that he always had in San Francisco, no matter they're up or down, how the defense played and responded for him. Yes, you have to get an offense, but I mean, yeah, like Ray said, I mean, can it hold up? Are they gonna double their wins and win 12 games and be 12-5? Who knows? But if this team goes 10-7, Eric, you know this, that stadium will melt down. Like, it'll melt down. It's and again, it's not even being funny or talking trash. Like, it's the Jets, but with the way their defense plays, look, Russell Wilson not making plays or not, man, they smacked them up in Denver. Like, it's very feasible this team's going to be hanging around. And to Cortland's point, like 2 through 7, man, they very much in control of being a wild card team because that defense will keep them in games. Zach Wilson has to step up more, and I will be hard on him, injured or not, coming back. Like, those lazy passes against the Patriots really – I was about to text you during those, but I don't want to throw my phone and break them because the Jets just need to beat the Patriots. They can't keep losing to them. It's ridiculous.
Agreed.
Can you imagine like playoff football in MetLife?
Oh my God! And if the Jets and Giants are both in it,
man,
the stadium will melt down.
All right, Megan Price. Where will Odell Beckham Jr. land?
Tennessee.
I think that has to be one of the big. Stop it. I think that has to be one of the biggest storylines of the second half of the season. He's getting cleared this week, and he's named 4 teams: the Bills, Green Bay, Dallas, and New York. And when I say New York, I mean his former team, the Giants. So I think the place that probably looks the best for him, go home, go to New York. Where do I really want him? Obviously, Dallas. I feel like we have no problem giving money to players who have just torn their ACL. So why not OBJ? We need the help.
Okay. Here's my storyline. Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears. When this young man was drafted, shout out to our brother Alex Fleming, rest in peace, rest in power, King. He was just in awe of the fact that it took 100 years for the Chicago Bears to draft a black quarterback. And then this season started, and it was just it was dysfunctional. It was ridiculous. That young man got thrown out there last season, and it was just horrible. Okay, so this season comes around, and it's like, why are you handcuffing this young man to being a pocket quarterback? Let him do what he is capable of doing. Play to his strengths, Chicago. And then finally one day they just decided, oh hell, take the gloves off. Let's see what he can do. And it's translating into games. It's translating into wins. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you the Chicago Bears are going to win the NFC North. That's not going to happen. Listen, Minnesota with Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and that defense,
Kirk Cousins.
no, are going to win the NFC North, okay? But Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears, I feel like, is a team that we're going to need to start paying attention to the second half of this season. And I really feel like the end of this season, we're going to see some of his best ball, and it's only going to catapult into the season moving forward.
His touchdown.
You know
pass
why they
was
got
sick.
better? Because they got rid of Andy Dalton. That's why they got better.
So, Ray, you're up, my brother. See
Hey,
if
man.
will the Rams right the ship?
For starters, you know my guy can't be on camera, and he would tell you, watch them lips, don't be disrespectful, trying not to mention first cousins. I'm gonna say that to him because he can't be on camera. You know, Big Guard to pull up. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, hold up. Raylan, you've been on this show with us long enough to know one simple thing. I ain't a hard man to find. The door is unlocked, Big Guard. Pull up. I'm still waiting on you.
You know he can't pull up. His boss said he can't.
Yeah.
He can take, listen. He can take some PTO and come on down to Florida.
He's gonna get caught in Florida like Calvin Ridley did.
Come on.
As far as my second half storyline, for me, somebody mentioned it as a disappointment. Obviously, when you the reigning Super Bowl champs, you're looking to defend that crown and come out and obviously at least contend. And the Rams have looked very bad. And the biggest part of that, again, I think on one of the shows earlier, somebody said nobody's talking about how bad that offensive line is. And it's very bad. I mean, they still have, for the most part, the same people are in place. You still got Jalen Ramsey. You still got Aaron Donald. You still have Matt Stafford. You still have Cooper Kupp. And it just doesn't look the same. So McVay's supposed to be a genius, right? Megan's one of her boyfriends. Right? He's supposed to be this genius. We will see if Pretty Boy McVay can get things turned around the second half of the season in lieu of that bad offensive line play design. You know what I mean? Getting the ball out of Stafford's hands quicker, drawing up some different kind of stuff to get that offense back on the right track and defend your crown. So that'll be what I'm watching for, to see if my quarterback can get back on track.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for us. Again, thank you so much for rocking with us the last 2 hours, man. And it has been just a phenomenal show. Wednesday night, though, we might get a little deep. Let's keep it 100. I mean, because we are going to talk about Kyrie Irving and that whole situation. We're also going to touch on Deion Sanders and his impact with HBCUs. And we're going to talk about the fact that the NBA has, and please, someone correct me, but if we're not at 50%, 50% of the head coaches in the NBA look like the halftime show, Cortland Griffin, the sports reporter without pay, Ray Lynn, and your man, Eric Wilson. The only thing missing is Becky Hammond coming back to the NBA. But she's going to be with the Aces for a minute.
I think she has where she at.
If you say they look like us, I mean, that's like 48.7 because Jason Kidd don't look like me. But other than that,
Kid, man. Oh.
By the way, nobody's talking about it. Eric, your Sixers beat Mike's Phoenix Suns tonight, and John, your guys lost on a buzzer beater. They lost to Portland.
Yeah, why don't you just punch?
I was just about to say to you, Eric, congratulations to your Sixers. They beat the Suns by 12.
And really quick before we go, shout out to this person right here. She has officially won the weekly pick'ems. Our Queen of Hoops, Miss Megan Price. Had I picked,
we know you didn't.
Had I picked the Kansas City Chiefs, had I picked the Kansas City Chiefs, or if I would have picked the Jets, or If I would have picked who else? Oh, I picked Carolina over Cincinnati.
Or
I picked, and I think it was
thrown-
only me and somebody else that picked Seattle.
Me and you.
or-
Listen, what do I
or-
always say? I can't pick a 1 o'clock game to save my life. John will tell me that all the time. I can pick the 4 o'clock games, and I can pick them on Monday night.
Man, I'm glad there was only 2 4 o'clock games because I got half of them wrong this
Hey
year.
Eric, I like how you glossed over. If you would have picked the Titans a couple of weeks, you probably would have won it because Megan picked the Titans a couple of times and they gave her the edge. So
Yes, you're right.
Hey, real quick, shameless plug. I think he's gonna put it on Facebook Live. Damian Adams does a show after Monday Night Football. I'm switching over to that here shortly, so I'll put it on my Facebook if that's what he's doing. Y'all check us out. I'm be over there kicking it with him here shortly.
And shout out to Ray Lynn. He's got a new show coming out very soon. He's going to do it right before. Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, you can put it out, but
That's a little teaser.
plug
That's
that.
a little teaser.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
gonna plug that. Yeah.
Sports Reporter Without Pay is on that next level. So for our halftime guest, the halftime show with Cortland Griffin, make sure you check him out. Blue Hawks 13, John Shear, my Queen of Hoops, Miss Megan Price. Left Coast to West Coast, my man of 15 years, Forks Up, Mike Caratanudo, and of course my co-host, the incomparable Ray Lynn, who always keeps it entertaining and live each and every Monday and Wednesday night here on the Sports Arena. Your man Eric Wilson. Much love to everybody. We'll see y'all Wednesday. Peace.